What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? How y'all doing? Hope all is well. All is well.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
What's going on?
Oh, it's going down tonight. This the one. This is the one I've been waiting for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate y'all coming up, man. Appreciate y'all coming up. So I'm gonna kind of go around, man. Have all the brothers introduce themselves, introduce your channel, and then I'm gonna then I'm gonna kick it off. Start with you, Dre.
If I'm introducing my damn self at the 4.5 years, introducing my channels at the 4, I'm doing something wrong. Y'all might as well take me off this panel. Let me go back to work because I'm doing something wrong. If I'm still talking about the title Love Crossing Borders, Andre and Andrea. So you guys already recognize that I'm Andre, not Andrea. And I'm here to represent the brothers and the married people here in Cali, Colombia. Or actually, we're outside of Cali, Colombia right now, but represent the married guys in Cali, Colombia. So that's what I'm here for. But yeah, I'm happy to be on the panel, man. Great idea.
Cool. Solo traveler.
What up? This is your boy, the Solo Traveler ORD. And I'm representing for those of you that actually married to Colombianas in Medellin area. So, been married for about several years, going on 4 years. So, and of course, I've been doing my content for about roughly 4 years as well. So, and I want to look me up. I wish I could say the same thing like Love Crossing Borders, what he said, but you know what? I be taking vacations. I be taking break for YouTube. So, most of y'all may not know me. So, but nonetheless, the Solo Traveler ORD. Thanks.
All right. Love, purpose, and passports.
Oh yeah, my man.
What up? What's happening? Que lo que mi gente? I am Mr. Pro for You, and my channel is Love, Purpose, and Passports with my wife, the beautiful Mrs. Pro for You. We are the pros, but like we always say, not those kind of pros. We've been in the game. We've been in the YouTube thing for just a few months. I was watching YouTube and I heard, the person I was watching mentioned, this dude, Andre, and he has his wife, Andrea, and said, this couple, man, they're doing amazing things on there. And, this dude that has all this, he's sharp, all this information with his beautiful wife. And I said, oh, let me go check them out. Let me see what they're doing. When it looked, and I was blown away. I said, look at this brother with his wife out here. I said, I was feeling them, and I felt an instant connection when I watched them. And I brought my wife in, told her to take a look, and said, I think we might be able to do this. They out there representing Colombia. We here represent Dominican Republic. And we out here doing our thing. And so far, so good.
Man, appreciate you coming up, bro. Man, appreciate the first super chat of the night. No other than brother Andre. Yes, get those likes up, man. Get those likes up, man. We want people to get this on their feed, man. Get the likes up. Appreciate it, bro. Who we got real quick? Jermon, what's up, everyone? First time on the channel, man. Appreciate you checking it out, man. Hopefully you get a lot of game, man. So we got 3 of us that's married to Colombians, one brother married to a Dominican. And so one reason why I wanted to kind of put this type of stream together is because the travel space, the passport bro space, whatever you want to refer to it as, it's a mixed bag of different type of travelers, different types of goals guys want to attain. And I would say the minority sector of the passport bros are the married bros.
True.
And so there's not, I would say, a lot of focus or content that kind of highlights that, because a lot of people say, these guys, y'all not trying to marry, y'all not marrying those women, y'all just doing ABC. And there are a lot of men that are married, brothers that are getting married and want to get married. And another reason too, I want to kind of highlight, from my knowledge, where I've been seeing a lot of marriages, especially on this side of the world in Latin America. And I would say the last 3 to 5 years, I would say it's been more marriages in Colombia with foreign men in all of Latin America. So I wanted to kind of start off with I'll start with you, brother Andre. What made you want to seek a foreign spouse?
You know what? For me, it really wasn't initial. I was like everybody else, I was having my fun and doing my thing, and so I don't want to deny that part. But I was married before, as a lot of guys know, and even though that marriage didn't work out, I enjoyed marriage. So I love being in a couple. So I'm not one of those guys that I can be 50, 60, 70 years old and I'm still a playboy. I'm not, I could do that, but I'm not, that's just not my thing. So I knew that if I did decide to settle down, once again, I was just traveling, having my fun like everybody else. I knew I would settle down and take it seriously. But once I met my wife, and I kid you not, I'm gonna tell y'all something in all sincerity, I know how I am.
Right.
I actually came to Cali to do a mongering ish exploration.
Mm-hmm.
See, at that time period, a lot of you guys know, some of you guys don't know, I used to be in the swinger world. So I was heavy in swinging in Florida. So I found out, all my friends that are Colombian, there's a huge Colombian population in Tampa, where I'm from. So they kept, you're traveling everywhere else, Drake. Why don't you check out our country? So I said, okay, since I'm already in this swinger world, let me see what's going on in Colombia with this world. So I wasn't on the monger side. I was in a totally different side when it came to exploits. And so I did my homework, and guess who I found out was the capital of swinger world in Colombia, Cali.
Wow.
You would think it would be Medellin or Cartagena or Bogota. No, Cali, the freaky. So I'm going to Cali to, do my exploration like I'm National G, and I meet my wife in the mall. And we hit it off, and that swinger world dream got deferred. It got deferred like immediately, man. Like, okay, I'm done. And so I've been happily married ever since, and I don't look back. I'm not one of those dudes that are envious of other men that are married. Actually, I mean that are single. I'm actually happy for those single brothers, just like I'm happy for his married brothers.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Solo traveler, man. Let us know, man, what inspired you to get married, or did your travel start off wanting to get married?
Yeah, see, for me, mine was a little bit about both. For me, for those of you that don't know my story, I'll make a quick little short story of what's going on. For me, I've been through a lot of relationships in the States and so forth, and basically things wasn't working out. And someone actually introduced me to Charles Tyler, some of his content. And that's kind of got me to look at things a bit different than what I was doing before, which was just traveling just for tourist, situations, whatever. Because like the thing about it is that I didn't find out about the whole monger thing and all that stuff until after, I started, getting deeper into that whole field of things and so forth. So what I did was for me, after from visiting Colombia the first time, see, I didn't know about the whole world of the stuff that was going on, the underground and prepagos, whatever, and so forth. But I just fell in love with being there because I got shown around. And it was until my second trip that's when I actually got introduced to a lot of that stuff. And basically for me, it's the fact that since I fell in love with the Colombian culture and of course the women and so forth, that's what kind of made me want to settle down with someone that actually from Colombia, especially from Medellin area, because I do want to, live there in that area. So it made more sense for me to do that as well. And plus, since I have, family, previous relationships and so forth here in the States for having kids, so it made more sense for me to settle down with someone. And of course, just to show my kids, more of the femininity, what it is to be of a woman than what is being taught here in the States. So at least have them see it firsthand. So all that made sense for me to get married. So that's just my quick little story of what I've been through as far as what got me or prompted me to want to get married and so forth.
And you love them Pisces, man.
Yeah, man, drop a bomb for them.
For those that don't know what a Paisa is from the region of Medellin. Mr. Pro, for you, man, what prompted you to get married, and was that your, I guess, initial goal when you started traveling?
I mean, I don't think that was any of our initial goals. I mean, me myself, I'm from the West Coast, so it's funny that anytime you guys ask Dre something about Cali, I start to answer and I got to catch myself because I'm from Cali. You know what I'm saying? But now we got this new Cali right here. I call it this international Cali. But no, I moved to New York. I moved to New York for job opportunity, and my cousin lives in Maryland, so he contacted me. I've probably been in New York for like maybe a year and a half at that time, maybe between a year and a half and 2 years. And so he called me and said, man, you got your passport? I'm like, nah. He said, I think you should get your passport. We getting ready to take this trip to DR, and I think it'd be beneficial to you. I'm like, okay. See, the thing is, I wasn't traveling before that. I mean, like for me, moving to New York was traveling. Moving to New York was experiencing other cultures. In Cali, my Cali, the cultures are Black, white, Asian, Mexican. That's it. Right. Moved to New York, and all of a sudden, it's not just Black. It's all these others. Haitian, it's Jamaican. Those are the Africans. Everything else, we fall up under. Right. And so, same thing for white. Same thing. It's not just white. Those are the Russians. Those are the Jews. Those are all those things. So, for me, that was already, a cultural experience. But, when he told me about taking that trip, I said, well, okay, yeah, I'll check it out. I don't have my passport. He said, come out here, take you to get your passport. Went out there, took me to get it. So he said, before we go, there's this website I want you to check out. It's called Dominican Cupid. I said, okay. And mind you, I didn't know nothing about Dominican Republic, and I didn't know nothing about Dominicans. And I think when I saw a Dominican chick in New York, I thought she was Black and Mexican, So when I got on the website, I'm like, what? I said, oh, okay. I understand now what's going on here. So I'm on the website, we go ahead looking around and everything, and you start lining them up, you know what I'm saying? But I run across this green dress, you know what I'm saying? Green's my favorite color. Like I say, I saw legs from there to there. And I like legs from there to there. And so end up hollering at her, message her. And back then we thought we was doing some real Mission Impossible thing. We was copy pasting that Spanish, that Espanol, a couple of those intro lines, you know what I'm saying? It was, it wasn't like it is now. There was no apps, and Google Translate. Brothers weren't thinking about Google Translate or something. So we would do it. It was like some real, slick, sophisticated thing, you know what I mean? So I started hollering at her, like, all right, well, let's take it off the platform. And so we get off the platform, and I call her, and I'm like, damn, I mean, you look good in pictures, but in video, this is I'm sold. But right, check it out. But then she started talking, and I'm like, I mean, my wife's English is better than mine. I'm like,
it is.
I'm like, you sure you in DR? She's like, yeah. I'm like, let me see. Because back then, when homies would be on, me and a couple other brothers, a couple of homies were on Dominican Cupid. Every now and then, my phone will ring late at night. He said, hey, if you meet this chick named such and such, don't holler at her. She in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? So, we was on the lookout for, the Dominicanas that wasn't, on location. You know what I'm saying? Because we trying to get these passports stamped. And so she showed me she was out there, and I'm like, okay, it's on. So I took the trip with my cousin, had made arrangements for her to, come down. And the thing is, y'all know where my cousin's trip was at, right? It was not in the capital.
Okay. Yeah.
So I gotta say it.
North DR.
North DR.
So, we were there, but we were we had a spot in Cabarete, so I had her come down. That was the first time to get to check her out. I was like, look, this is my cousin's, it's my cousin's birthday. We here for a few days. So, I'm gonna check you out, come down, see you for like, a day, and then go back. But this would be our point A. So she comes down, and when it was time for her to go, one of my homies looked and said, man, you send her back, you send her fines back. You's the stupidest in this world. So I was the stupidest in this world because I didn't know, man. You know what I'm saying? We were here for the birthday party, whatever, sent her back. She went back and we did our thing, out there. So, that's how it goes. I mean, that's always point A. That's how we, understand, what it's about. But after that, I think because the language barrier was not there, because there was no language barrier, we were able to just vibe and just communicate. And it was like, not only does she look the part, she is the part, what I mean? And that's the thing about, like, I don't knock brothers who have the language barrier, because like I always say, there's a will, there's a way. I don't tell a brother what he can't do. But for me, because there was no language barrier, that's what enabled us to just come like this. You know what I'm saying? And went from there. So we got, we got tighter, we got closer, and the relationship got serious. And I mean, if a brother don't recognize, what's for him, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? I recognize, and now that's the missus. So that's how that's my story.
Man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Leroy said my wife, Jenny, is there in Cali as we speak. Okay, she had a family emergency. Okay, hope all is well, bro. Hope all is well. Well, my backstory is, so when I started traveling internationally, I already knew that my goal was to eventually find a wife. That's always been my goal. But I wanted to find a country that I love, because I realized just in relationships in general that you want to be where the home of your woman is, or wife is, because her heart is always going to be home. Like I've dated women in the United States from different cities, and when we broke up, guess where they went? They went back home. And sometimes, and it was some situations where I kind of wanted to work things out, but I didn't want to move back to their city because I didn't like it there. So I always told myself was that I should position myself to be in a country where I will always want to be, so I could always be there. And if I had to fight for the love of my life, I'm somewhere where I want to be. So saying all that to say, I visited a lot of countries, and Colombia was a country I fell in love with. Cartagena was a city that I fell in love with. So I started heavily, looking for, searching for women in Cartagena. I really wasn't interested in the dating sites, because, a lot of times what you get with the dating sites, you get women that a lot of men met, seen, or hollered at before. So I really didn't want that situation to come back on me. And so I was trying little things like Facebook and Instagram. And a lot of women, especially younger women, they like to use the hashtags, hashtag Cartagena, hashtag at the mall, hashtag whatever. So I was just searching certain hashtags that was particular to Cartagena, and I was just hitting up random profiles. And then my wife now, I hit her up on Instagram, and we just kind of small talked. We were just kind of friends for a while. And so my next segue with y'all is going to be, how patient was y'all process. So to make a long story short, we was friends for about 1.5 years before we even started dating. And up until we got married, we known each other for almost 4 years. But I want to get around to y'all first. I'm going to start with you, Solo Traveler. How patient, or how was the process from you meeting your wife for the first time to y'all actually getting married?
So my process was a bit different than most people. So just like as your situation for me, I actually met my wife online through like Facebook. So when I was searching, I was going through different, going through different friends lists and just looking around, same thing, friends and Instagram. So when we first finally met, I was blown away. I was just like, yo, for me is the fact that I got a thing for the paisa, that ivory skin tone, and the black hair, and I just love that stuff. And for me, my wife, she has some curves to her. So when I first met her, I'm like, yo, this is it right here. I'm about to go ham on this one. So basically, the whole thing is that we took our time. It actually took us about, well, it depends on how you say it, taking your time. Because for me, it took me about 2 years before I actually married her. We dated for that long. And for those 2 years, I put her through a lot of shit tests, just testing her on everything you could think of, just making sure that she's the right one and everything's all good. Because, how it is when you date women in the United States and you don't find out like the true them after like 3 or 4 or 5 years after being with them.
Right.
So because of that, I'm doing everything from checking up on her late at night, popping up, making sure, it is what it is, seeing how she reacts in certain situations. So it's, just trying to make sure that, she is who she is. And so, like I said, for me, it took about 2 years. And then when I finally popped the question, I actually took it to Aruba and did the whole thing, popped the question there. And, from there on, another year, that's when we actually got married. But everything was great, especially dealing with the family and so forth. So, it's I guess it depends on each person. Each person have their time, depending on the relationship. Because we all know each relationship is different. How well you know that person. All that really matters.
You got on bended knee too, huh?
You know what? Yeah, well, yeah. It was actually nice. It was actually in the middle of like palm trees. So it was like an open area with a number of palm trees and a rock in the middle. So made it look really, really nice. So
okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I bend the knee. I may not bend the knee for a stateside woman, but I will bend the knee for a foreign woman. I was a knee bender. I got bad knees and was bending
I'm gonna go to you, love purpose and passports. How long was it from you met your wife to you guys were actually married?
7 years.
Okay.
So we and I've said this before. Every international couple that's together, everybody has an amazing story. And one of our amazing stories is we did the long distance relationship thing for 7 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's our area of expertise. I mean, we have a series covered about long distance relationships because at this point, we can pound our chest a little bit, and say that we were able to do this. We got it done because there's so much negativity attached to the relationships that go that long and say it can't be done. But, for us, it was like, when the relationship started getting serious, it became like the norm for me to take these trips, get ready, take a trip out there, we do our thing and come back and get ready to go again. And that just became the norm. Regular long distance relationship, we were doing it. And so, even though the relationship was serious, I think that we didn't want to, well, when I say we weren't ready to get married until it was ready to make a move. Either she's going to come here or I'm going to go there. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, this was, this was just our thing. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? For years. And the thing is, I mean, as the years pass, it just becomes the norm. You know what I mean? When dudes say vet, this was vetted, with a capital V, a capital E, and a capital P, because, at this point, the norm is, when you get home from work, when I get home from work, we on video, virtual, we on video all the way till it's time to go to bed, Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And it just became our normal thing. And so, you know, we did it. And then finally, you know, when I popped the question, you know, it was already, you know, it's like, okay, I'm ready to make this move. You know, I can make this move and make it happen. So, you know, you don't want to get married and still be traveling back and forth, you know, when you can. And so, by the time I popped the question, you know, a few months later, you know, we got married, and then, you know, a few more months after that, you know, I was able to make that move. But you know, it's the interesting thing is, like, you know, and that's why I you know, when I talk to regular dudes who don't have it all laid out, I didn't have it laid out because I wasn't even traveling. Like, if my cousin wouldn't have talked to me, I never would have had a passport probably till now. I didn't know anything about it. I hadn't, you know, seen anything about these countries, because we're talking about almost 10 years back, you know, around 10 years back. There were no YouTube videos. You know, it's like dudes now can get a whole, you know, it's just a wealth of information out there between videos and the apps, and everything is just so much easier now. Back then, you know, I didn't know nothing. It wasn't even getting ready to do nothing. But, you know, I bet after that first trip, I was ready to do something, and, you know, start making the trips, you know, and, you know, by, you know, God's grace, I met, you know, who I was looking for. And,
your first trip.
I met her the first trip, bro. I met her the first trip. You know, it took a few more trips after that, but, you know, because here's the thing, you know, when you get in a relationship, the interest is serious, but it takes a little time for the relationship to get serious. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you know, you know, it doesn't just, you know, even though the interest does, and we doing that, but like we say, you know, there's levels to this, and, you know, you got to take it up a notch, and then another notch, and then another notch, and another notch, where now you just cruising. It's just, you know, this is us. This is this us thing now, you know. But you know, that's how we did it, and
that's what's up.
God
man.
bless.
7 years, man. That is, I commend that. That's a lot of, that's patience.
Oh, yeah.
That's patience,
Woo.
man. That's
Hey.
that's vetting, and to do it long distance, which I'll speak on in a little bit, and consistency, man. It shows a lot of vetting. Part of the vetting process is consistency. You want to see those patterns. You want to see, you know what I mean? We say I love you every night. Certain things is consistent. So I get into that more, but I want to get to my brother Andre, man. How long was it from the first time you met your wife to you guys were actually married?
We were about 3.5 years. We did the long distance, just like Marcus and he did in DR. It took us about, because we went through a friendship phase. We went through an issue like a Solo was saying, you know, they get to know somebody. Is this the person I need to be serious with anyway? And so, okay, we attracted to each other on a physical sense and even on an intellectual sense, but is it an attraction that's beyond just we cool with each other, or is it an attraction that, hey, we can see each other together? So over time, we began to grow as a couple towards each other, and we knew we just wanted to be sure. Let's put it like that. And the benefit that we had is just like what Marcus is saying, and probably what some of you guys feel as well. The benefit that we had was there weren't any YouTube videos. And I'm going to say that again. It was a benefit because we didn't have any of those manga distraction videos. We didn't have any shout out to my brother DC Rob, but we didn't have DC Rob videos out there telling us that somebody got. We didn't have any of those, you know, any of those dudes that's in DR saying you can't do it because of. So we didn't have any of those distractions, the Colombia distraction videos, because it was only at that time period was just Marwa and Ace. And like one of the young white kid in Colombia doing YouTube videos on a regular basis. Other than that, there was nobody else. And so it made it a lot easier. And so when we were in the States, we would actually make up games. We will have a game show. I mean, it will amaze you how much stuff that you in your online relationship, but your long distance relationship, you just become creative. So if I got a package in from Amazon, we just had a game show called What's in the Box. And I pretend like I was this game show host and I would open up all my Amazon packages and blah, 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 blah. Or we would have a game show called And He Can Cook. So I would be like a cooking show. That would be my cooking show. So I would be cooking my stuffed bell peppers while we're doing our live streams. I mean, not live stream, but our online chats. And it will amaze you how solidified that helped our relationship become in that 3-year time period. So when I did drop to that one good knee I got left, you know, I felt more confident, even though we started it in the largest portion of it was just like Marcus was saying, it was long distance. Even though I was taking trips back and forth, and I'm doing maybe 4 or 5 trips a year because I'm splitting them up into 3-4 day adventures each trip. Still, it was every day, just like you were saying about the consistency. Still, every day we're doing video chats, we're doing this, we're doing that. Even if we had a time where we both were just exhausted, we'd come on like for 2 minutes, babe. I'm tired too, babe. Love you too. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And so it was just that air of consistency that I think consistency gave me more confidence in the direction that we were heading than anything else.
Man, appreciate it, man. We got another brother that's married to a Colombiana.
Colombia in the house.
I found out about him by way of live stream with Kings of Dreams, man. I was like, okay, it's another content creator that's married to a Colombian. We out here. We represent Colombia, man. We represent, man. Can we get a bomb drop, Soul Traveler, man?
Get some claps in here too.
We represent Latin America, man. I'll get you up to speed, Todd, man. Introduce yourself real quick. A little bit about your channel, and then I'll bounce a question off you.
All right, thank you, and salute to everybody on the panel. I see you got the great one, Andre, in here too. What's up, brother? How you feel, man?
What's up? Just a man right there.
Hey, man, you are the model, man. I'm trying to follow your lead, brother. Again, my name is Todd Allen, also known as Professor Econ. My channel is called Infinite Growth TV. And what I try to do with my channel is I try to give people alternative ways to be able to progress, to edify themselves, to grow into their profession, to grow into their career in infinite growth. And so I talk about leadership, talk about mindset, talk about just going after it and getting it. And I've been doing this for over 2 decades in terms of teaching in economics at the university level. And so I made a lot of money for the university. Now I'm trying to make a lot of money for myself. So that's what I'm trying to do. I am married to a Colombiana. The best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm just going to say it that way. When I moved here to Colombia, I lost 40 pounds. You know, I was a fat body, but now I've got my mind right, got my body right, got my spirit right. And living here in Colombia, being with my wife, has saved my life. So, and we can talk about that. I can talk about that forever.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna finish up the question. So the question was, how long have you known your wife from the first time you met her until you guys were actually married? I'll answer that, and then I'll pass it to you, Todd.
Okay.
For myself, like I said, I met my wife. I would say it was about three, almost 4 years from me meeting her until we got married. And you know, I was engaged before. I was engaged a few times actually. Never been married. And so after the last time I was engaged, like I really wanted to take my time. And I took my time with her. We was friends. When we met, she was kind of shy. She really wasn't confident in like getting to know a foreigner. So she was just kind of shy. So we were just friends. And so she seen me date other women and things like that. And I never really thought something was going to come of it at a certain point. When I met her, she was trying to be an au pair in the United States. So those not familiar with an au pair, it's basically an opportunity to learn another culture in a different country. And in exchange, you stay with a host family and you typically make money through babysitting, preparing meals, just kind of like house chores like that. So
that's what Afro Wahita did. Maya, she did that for 2 years.
Okay. I didn't know that. So she was in DC. I was in, I was in Philly. So one reason why I didn't get too close to her because my security was like, man, she about to go to the US and she gonna forget all about me. So I'm not even finna even try to entertain a relationship. I'm just gonna let her. I'm just gonna observe her from a distance and just see what comes out. Because I really didn't want to get involved when she said that because of the stigma around women being exposed to the U.S. But to my surprise, I linked up with her in D.C. It was so funny because she could speak English, but she didn't want to speak no English in the United States. She didn't want to like mess up or anything like that. So we went to like a nightclub in DC, and like me being with her, it felt normal. It felt like I was with just like any woman I would be with in the US. Like I wasn't intimidated. I thought I would be intimidated, but I felt normal because I'm somebody that that has status, that has resource in the United States. So I didn't feel intimidated because of who I am. So her being in the United States for that time period made me realize that guys, if you're confident in yourself and if you know that you're a high caliber brother in the US, it shouldn't matter if your woman was in the United States because she's gonna see that you're a high caliber person, just like any other woman would. Now they may differ on the type of men that they're attracted to, but as far as your status, that's gonna be, a woman could recognize that right off the bat. So after she was in the United States, we were still friends, and I just think after a while, like she was just so patient, and like when I finally got around to asking her about would she be my girlfriend, she said ask me in person, because I was in the US, she was in Colombia. She was like, ask me in person. I'm like, come on. I'm like, why are you trying to delay this? So, but I respected it though. That was her way of being a lady and wanted it to feel formal in a certain way. So the next time I came to Colombia, we went out to eat, and I just asked her, to be in a relationship. And we was in a relationship, and then when I finally proposed, I was so nervous. It was kind of impromptu. Like I didn't have a ring. It was right after the pandemic. So I was just like, I'm gonna get the ring. I just wanted to get it out the way because I was just so nervous and things. So we was at a restaurant again. I didn't get on one knee because I didn't have a ring. We were just at a table. I had them like bring out flowers. We had a nice dinner, and then I popped the question, and that's pretty much history. And Solo Traveler came to the wedding past April,
right?
But that was pretty much it. So the reason why I want to ask this question, because a lot of people assume and some have, they think a lot of guys are so thirsty. They see a foreign woman, they just want to get married in 90 days, and that's really not the case, man.
Yeah, I call them the 90-day experts.
we not thirsty. The guys that spoke so far, we wanted to take our time, just like we would take our time with if it was a woman in the States. We're going to take our time. So some people think we're dumb. It's a what you call that, a mail order bride. No, we took our time. So I'm gonna pass it to Todd, man. The question is, when how long was it when you met your wife for the first time till you got married?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, for me, it was a little bit different. We met. I was 0 for 2. I was married to 2 melanated women, and they decided that they no longer wanted to be married. So I guess they wanted to, monkey branch somewhere else. And so, when someone doesn't want you, you don't fight it. You just say, hey, if that's what you want to do, that, God bless you. So that's what happened. And so my wife and I we basically met online. And how we met was that she saw a picture of me holding my goddaughter, and I had a picture of the Torah that was next to me. And so when she reached out to me, she says, what do you know about that book? And so the conversation started basically on a spiritual and religious tip. And I found out that we practice our religion the same way. We practice our beliefs the same way. So our relationship started based on similar values and beliefs. And so when we talked for a year, I decided, well, it was a long distance relationship for a year. And I said, well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and let's meet in a neutral location, because I wasn't going to come all the way to Colombia and not knowing what the landscape was. So I picked a neutral spot. We met in a neutral spot, and that was how we basically formed the relationship. Soon afterwards, I proposed. Then I came to Colombia, met her pastor, met her family, had to get approval from the mom, had to talk to mom, and had the conversation with mom, met all of her sisters, met her brother-in-law, met nieces, nephews, met the whole family, and we went from there. So we actually had two ceremonies. We had a civil ceremony in July, and then we had our religious ceremony in October of 2019. I then came back to the U.S. thinking I was going to come back here in March of 2020, and the pandemic hit. So we were separated for almost 10 months of the first year of our marriage. But my wife is a praying woman. She prays for me. She prays for everything that we do. The one thing I love about Colombia is that the people are God first, family second, and then the rest comes afterwards. And so it was much more relaxing. My wife cares for me. She makes sure that I'm eating right. She makes sure that I'm exercising. She makes sure that any medications that I need or whatever, she just basically takes care of me. It's almost like I have to remind her that, you're my wife, you're not my mother.
Bruh, preach. Preach.
But I understand she does that because she loves me. She cares for me. And she's very, very protective. I know that the first several months that I was here, I thought that I knew Spanish, but classroom Spanish and street Spanish are totally different. So I'm a little bit more fluent now. I'm not where I want to be, but she translates Spanish into Spanish for me. So I guess that's the best way to put it.
I like that.
That's funny, because that's how I learned Spanish, from the street. So whenever I hear the textbook stuff, I'm like, what?
Right. Exactly. I'll tell you a quick story. We were at the eye doctor, and so I'm not knowing what's going on. So the lady's telling me to blink, and so my wife is in my face, papari, papi, papari, and so she's actually blinking. I said, oh, okay. So I start blinking. Then the lady asked me, what is the letter on the wall? So my wife says, papi, ah. So she told me what the letters are. So, but it's stuff like that. What I've come to realize and understand is that it's the little things. It's the little things that I'm appreciative of, and being in the moment. And I think that being with my wife has added years to my life. Not only because I'm less stressed and I'm a lot healthier. I lost 40 pounds, but I'm at peace. And that's the most important thing that I believe that any man could do in any kind of relationship, is just to be at peace and to understand that he can be on his purpose, that he can be in his square, and that he has support and is just at peace with that. And so that's what this relationship has done for me, and I'm just very, very, very thankful for it.
Man, that's what's up. That's what's up,
Man, brother.
So I'm gonna answer a question. So this question is probably more for you, Mr. Pro, for you, and then I got a question for the panel, starting with Dre. So Kings with Dreams had asked. He said, most men have said Dominican women aren't the marrying type. I don't know about that. Do you find that to be true?
Well, Well, of course, I don't find that to be true. But here's the interesting thing about that: most men the marrying type. I mean, let's just start there. You know, you always gotta trace the source of where what you heard, where it came from. And when it's interesting that all of a sudden, the DR women are not the marriage type, but like I said, I haven't seen a dude who was looking for a wife that couldn't find one yet. You know what I mean? And most of the guys that say that, they're not looking for wives, they're not marriage type. They just have that to say because, um, you know, for some reason, this commercial thing, about passport bros and all that. The commercial statement is, we're going abroad to we're going abroad to find love and wives. Come on, man. Who all's looking for wives? Raise your hand. I mean, I see a screen. I don't see anybody on this panel looking for wives. Just the brothers that found wives. And even though I'm the only one in DR, but cool, leave it to me. And the funny thing is, brothers say, well, you got lucky, or it's not like that. But the way I feel is everybody gets lucky to find the person they're looking for, because, how many times were you unlucky? How many times did you find the wrong person until you found the right person? So when dudes are saying this, I hear it, but, what's the source? Bring them on, because one person can't come on and tell me that a whole country has no wife material. This is one person that person that you thought was the right one was not. But the funny thing is, everyone's the wrong person until you find the right person. So.
You mind if I touch on that as well?
Let me shout out the super chat real quick, man. Appreciate the super chat, Victory Asher. He said, "Taj, your words are encouraging for me. It's extremely important for me to meet a Colombiana who shares similar religious values. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it, bro."
Yeah, when Ty was talking, I was actually thinking about Victory. It's kind of funny that you would say that. So I mean that he would do a super chat because I know Victory and I know his spiritual beliefs, and so as soon as Ty was talking, I was like, man, I'm glad Victory here to hear that. So to see the super chat come through that's a plus. But go ahead, ORD. My bad.
I don't know, Paul, man. No, I want to say is that I think that it's up to what brothers are looking for and if they want to vibe with their particular culture, because there are a lot of good women down there in DR. It just comes down to, is that the type of culture you want to be in? Is that the type of person you really want to deal with? Because I've actually met a few really good women down there. I've almost actually married one woman that was down there. Good woman, she like, to the point that every time I would come down there, she would always clip my nails, take everything out my luggage. She would like feed me grapes, everything you could think of, and so forth. So there are good women out there. I just think that a lot of the brothers that say that when it comes down to DR, they're going to one location and one location only, one area. They're not really moving around. They're not really, taking their time out to, search for, the right locations, such as away from, the tourist areas like, Suet, so many words. Or are they actually taking the time out to learn the language, or at least, learn the culture of the women that's there? So all that really matters. You got to know what you're getting into. So I know tons of brothers that actually had gotten married to Dominican women. They actually stayed married for a long time, such as one actually here, Mervin, who's actually been commenting in the comment section. So, I think he's been married for like 9-10 years now. So it's possible. This is just, I'm saying, for all those brothers that don't know or don't or haven't, they always hear the negatives and so forth about that, they met this one girl, they brought them to US, and then, she got, she left them and so forth. There are several reasons for everything, and I can't just put on a whole group of people. So there are some good women, just got to search and take your time. And when it comes down to that, come down to the DR.
And I wanted to say this also, what is brothers' experience in choosing the right woman? You know what I mean? Because sometimes, I'll say your chooser is broken, when's the last time you chose the right woman? You know, there is a plethora of women here, just like there's a plethora of women in Colombia. But are they all marriage material? No. But it's up to you.
I think
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, my bad. I mean, because real quick, shout out to brother SJ Clyde with the $10 super chat.
Hey, Clyde in the building.
He's gonna be next.
I know, right?
I'm trying to be like y'all. You almost you there, brother. You just a signature away.
We're trying to be like you, man. That guy be sending his girl flowers every other week, man. I'm like, slow down, man. You making me look bad.
He make long distance relationships look easy. He make long distance relationships look easy. Something I had spoken to you, Mr. Pro, for you about DR2 is what I noticed when I was dating Dominican women is that the ones that are good girls and attractive, it's a longer process, in my opinion, for Dominican women. Like some men that I know that love DR, they say they love it because they love the thrill of the chase. You know what I mean? So a good Dominican woman is going to be a little bit more patient, even more patient than a Colombian woman to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. She's going to want you. A lot of Dominican chicks that I really wanted, they wasn't going to let you smash the first time you was in a DR. They're going to be like, next time. And so you like, my next time ain't for 2 or 3 months. I gotta wait. Next time, I gotta spend money to come see you just dry, and I gotta wait another 2 or 3 months to see you again. So some dudes just be like, nah, I want a chick. I'm leaving the U.S. I want something like fast. So I think some people are like that.
Yeah,
definitely. You know, it's I mean, here's one thing I was fortunate in. I was fortunate that my wife spoke English. I don't know how it would have been if she didn't speak English, because I didn't speak Spanish. My Spanish is better now, you know, but you know, anytime you think that a whole country, and we speaking strictly in the context of outside the matrix, okay, here we are. If you think a whole country is a certain way, you know, you got to readjust your thinking. You know what I mean? Because there's no way. A brother posted on my channel recently. He said, well, you know, you found yours, but it's only been chicks trying to sell me P, you know, since I've been here. And I was like, that's interesting, because that means you're in a place where they only sell P.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Try pulling out on Avenida 27 at 7:30 in the morning. You see all the real chicks. You see all the regular chicks. You know why? Because they're on their way to work down 27.
Yeah.
That's all I've been saying.
Yeah.
Catching that bus.
The uniform is a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
They got jobs. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you commented that on a Wednesday night. You know, so on Wednesday night, guess where all the regular women were? In the bed, getting ready to go to work in the morning.
Absolutely.
In the bed early.
Yeah.
In the house. Yeah.
Shout out to Kings of Dream for the $2 super chat, man. Great convo, fellas. Great convo.
I would like to make a comment though. My wife doesn't speak English.
Okay.
So I had to learn Spanish. And so here's my thought with that. It's a lot easier for me to learn Spanish than it is for her to learn English, because my wife has been speaking Spanish her entire life. But in the United States, we're more bilingual than other places in the world. We have access to different things, other languages, because the English language is really a bastardized language of other languages. So it's a lot easier for us to learn a foreign language than it is sometimes for people who are from Colombia or other Latin American countries to learn English. And as a man, I'd rather take that responsibility than to put that on her. And that's just, you know, my value system and my belief system as a leader, as what we say, the high priest of the house. It's my responsibility to be a leader, to learn the language, but then also to show, you know, the compassion and leadership that's required to maintain the household. And so that's just, you know, our belief system, and that's just how I do it. That's not, you know, knock on anybody else who doesn't, but I just think that sometimes it's more attractive for foreign women if they see that the man is taking the time to learn their language.
No, that's what's up, man. Go ahead, Soul Trouble.
I was not going to say, you know, that's a funny thing is that for those of you that are trying to learn the language, you know when you became proficient with the language when you're able to argue with your girl. That's when you know you're proficient with it. Right there.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is so true. It's kind of funny that you say that. Me and Ace were out. He came to see me in Cali last year, and we were out just eating. And this brother came up to us, and he was just looking raggedy. He just wanted a few dollars, but it was in such a disrespectful way how he approached us. Ace just stood up and politely was talking to the brother. All of a sudden, a full-blown argument broke out, and I was like, dang, that brother Spanish good. Arguing, because I was like, once you know you can argue in Spanish, that's when I said, that's all I thought. I wouldn't think about the brother. I wouldn't think about Ace. All I'm thinking about, I'm in a moment of jealousy while we eating. I'm like, dang, that brother Spanish good. Yeah. I would like to argue in Spanish. but I'm not saying Andre and I have disagreements, but I'm saying you're right, ORD. You start to find yourself becoming more proficient and confident in being able to express yourself a little bit more, being the leaders. Because one thing I notice about Latin women, your leadership is expected. It's not appreciated in a sense like, I appreciate you finally being a man that you're supposed to be. In these cultures, you are expected to walk in the fullness of your manhood. And a part of that is if you need to learn another language to lead the family in the direction that the family needs to go, so be it. Be the man and learn that new language. And so those are some of the things that I picked up. I got a question for you guys, because I noticed this about the guys that are in serious relationships or married among the passport brothers. Do you guys notice that we really aren't the ones that are putting down the women in the States? We're not the ones that saying that they're not marriage material. We're not the ones that saying that all black women are this or all black women are that. Us that are serious in relationships, we're not assuming that there are no good women in the United States. But you see what I'm saying? The narrative has been put out there that everybody that's under the moniker of passport bro or black man with a passport, we're leaving and marrying, even us that are getting into relationships, are because the women in the States, and that's not most of our narratives.
No, you mind if I go first? You know what I think it is, that it's because of the whole fact of KS, ever since the passing of KS. And I'm thinking that a lot of these dudes from the red pill actually had jumped on this whole bandwagon of the travel bros and things like that. And I believe that they have hijacked a lot of, what we're doing, and they used it for their benefit to put that as a carrot in their face of saying, look, this is what we about to do now. So, you guys can't do this. You guys ain't that, whatever. And that I'm about to go over here and go find something better. So for us, you know, a lot of us, we actually just dipped out. We was like, yo, we dipped out, and all we doing is just trying to help other brothers, to see, realize the benefit of leaving the USA and seeing something better. But the last thing, in our platforms, we don't even bring up, the women, in the other state. We don't bring up ABS or whatever. We don't really care too much about that. But we're gonna talk about what goes on in these countries and the women that that we come in contact with, and you can make the educated the difference in the similarities yourself, and if a lot of these women, they do jump on and they see that, well, hey, I mean, if you feel bad for that, it's up to you, but that's not on us. We're just giving the people, what we experience, what we see when we go out here, and or even just our experience with our wives and so forth. So that's exactly my take on it.
True.
Shout out to Travelversity, man. I see you in the chat, bro. What's good? One thing I noticed real quick is travelers travelers don't talk about what's going on in the United States. We're too busy planning trips, trying to, share our experiences. The ones that's not traveling is talk. That's all they got to talk about because they can't talk about travel. But go ahead, brother Todd.
Yeah, I appreciate this question because I'm trying to think about some of the things that the red pill is lacking, right? I always say that everything that we do is in commerce, and so commerce is everything is a social contract, and so when we're married, when we have a significant other, it's really a social contract, and so when we get married, it's elevating that social contract to a different type of contract. So it's buying and selling, persuading, all of these different things. I believe that the reason why we don't talk about these things is because we're not in the market for those women. We're good. We're good. We already have our social contract. There's no need for anything else, right? And so there's no reason to put someone else down. There's no reason to put another group of women down because we're just not in that market. So
now I do got smoke. If somebody want to come in and say something, I got smoke for them. But I don't initiate. I retaliate.
Right.
Exactly.
They will catch this smoke, man. Let's see. So I'm gonna start with you, brother Andre. I got something I was thinking about. He said yes. Brother Marquis said Colombia got a lot of receipts for marriages, man. DR do too.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I got to speak up for DR because ever since I started the channel, you got to realize everybody is not public, so there are brothers who have been reaching out to me with their wives since we started the channel, and to be honest, I mean, we're private people, but we felt like we had something to offer to the community, so we decided to jump out here. But there's so many couples that they're together, they've been happily married, they're doing their thing, but how would you know looking at YouTube? There's only content creators on YouTube. We create content, we come out here and we represent what we're doing. But this DR thing, man, and for me, I didn't realize that this myth had gotten so bad because I'm 10 years in, and like I said, there wasn't that idea, or this myth, DR women are this, and the culture is shifted and all that, because I don't see it. We're in the gated community. It's nothing but families, husbands and wives, or couples where we live. The kids come in here and I'm trying to record something and mess it up in the hallway. We got to start over again. They're out there playing because it's a gated community. Kids might play outside till 9, 10 o'clock. I won't say 10 o'clock, but they play outside late because I know the parents like, go outside. Don't come back in. Do our thing. Yeah, they out there and they do their thing. But this is all families. Now, it's all Dominicans, but I'm where the Dominicans are. So if the Dominican brothers are finding wives, what's your problem? I like I said, it's kind of a, this is a new thing to me, hearing how much, DR is being disparaged out there, but I understand why, because the trend is Colombia now. And I understand Colombia is good, but back when I started, they weren't talking about Colombia. They were talking about DR. So it's more of a trend thing, that's going on, because come on, man, how many brothers that's looking for wives? Let's just stop it.
Stop the cap.
Cut the crap. Yeah, stop the cap, cut the crap. I did
polls on it. I did polls on this, and it was about 20% at the most was looking for wives.
But then this the irony of it, gentlemen. But then they want to use us or what we do as the scapegoat when the women in the state criticize them. When the women in the states criticize their actions on the mongering side or the party side or the wild side or getting caught up in Colombia and going back home with all your stuff missing, they want to use the narrative. Well, I was there looking for a woman because you ladies in the United States, blah 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 blah, knowing that the truth is, you dudes ain't us. We are an actual subculture of the passport bros, but you guys try to pronounce it as if what we are actually do and have done is mainstream, and it's not. And have you guys noticed that? Have you noticed that they use our story, our narrative, when the ladies say, y'all only going over on TikTok and the ladies attack, but then they want to say, no, we're looking for love.
We the commercial.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're the commercial.
With all the time.
We're the face. We're the
go.
face of the passport bros.
That's
You
it.
know.
That's
But I gotta give a shout out to you, Andre, because you know what, you're the one who told me to take my channel to start, talking about my relationship and so forth. And from that point on, like, I get tons of emails or messages from Instagram from people asking about how to get married in Colombia. And it's like I get a lot of those. So, it's like it's becoming to be a really big trend of brothers getting married. I didn't even know too much about, like, I knew about it, but not to this extent ever since I started opening up my channel to that. So I gotta give my, shout out to you for that one, and I see it now.
Man, appreciate the super chat from brother Jay Mitch, man. He said, "Great topic, fellas. Salute, Jay Mitch."
Here's one thing that I think a lot of people miss as well. In doing the research about the different countries and about the different women from different countries. For example, Colombia has an 8% divorce rate. Divorce rate is really low. So that means that when you're dealing with a woman from this country, they're serious. They're not playing. Now, there is that element, I'm sure. Where it is, I don't know, because that was never something that I was, involved with. But when you talk about a low divorce rate, as opposed to in the States where it's 50%, so I mean, you can judge you have your own judgments from that. But
some people will argue real quick. Some people will argue, because I've used that statistic too, but some people will argue and say Colombia has a low divorce rate because they have a low marriage rate, which is partially true as well. A lot of them don't marry Colombians, so
or they don't get divorced.
But
they'll stay married. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but no, true. But the other part is that when they use that narrative where the marriage is low, because Colombia is a common law country, to whereas United States has a few common law states. Colombia is these couples have been together for 3 kids deep. They've been together for like 8-9 years. All the rights she gets anyway. All the rights he gets anyway, because after 2 years of verification that you can legally prove with receipts that you guys have been under the same roof, y'all take care of these, especially take care of kids together. Right. You really don't need the paper by law, because the law is already established on a nationwide basis. So when people sit back and say, well, Colombians are married on a higher rate because it's a common law country, they don't need the paper as much as it's needed because we have 50 states and it's all divided under different policies and rules.
Different kind of contract.
Exactly.
And even then, it still looks good at the fact that if we're married at a lower rate. I mean, if you think about it, that's even better.
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
better.
It's even better.
Hold on, you paused out solo travel.
Married.
Okay, you back.
I mean, how many women does each brother need to find a wife? You know what I'm saying? Like, you need a whole country worth. We need to have the whole statistics of what the country is like to find one wife. Right. I mean, we ain't talking about finding a plethora of wives. We talk about one. So.
Well, yeah, and a Latin woman here in Colombia, one is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Because they could go from 0 to the moon instantly, man. So
I've never seen a brother who was looking for a wife read the statistics first, before he goes looking. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the information is good. Don't get me wrong, but
I ain't gonna lie. I actually did that.
Wow.
I ain't gonna lie. I was like, no. I actually looked. I was like, wait a minute. Should I get married in this country?
No, I did that
too. Divorce rate here.
See, I didn't, because I didn't know to. But you guys kind of came to mind for you guys. But sometimes it's ignorance is bliss in certain situations.
Mhm.
And because everything was, there was no really push on social media regarding getting to getting into talking about marriages, talking about relationships. While everybody was on the other, like I always say, there's two bridges and two sides to a bridge and two sides to a coin. While everybody was on that side of the bridge, partying, having fun, we over here so quietly in stable relationships, 7 years, 3 years, 4 years, going back and forth, establishing relationships with the family and not just them. I remember when I really got solidified in Andrew's family because I came on Christmas. Andrew's dad was like, "Is he just another American, monger that we hearing about on that side of the bridge?" But when I came down for Christmas, he was like, "Oh, okay, he cool. Because he ain't got no family up in the States that he got a wife to go be with or kids to take care of because it's the holiday." So that solidified me with the family.
Yep.
But dudes try to make the mistake, and let me know if you guys noticed this. That because we were on this side of social media and nobody was really talking about relationships, serious relationships from the Passport brothers, and everybody was talking about the mongering and the party and so forth, it gave us a chance to really do it our way. You see what I'm saying? Without distractions, without the women on TikTok. Because think about it, guys. We were getting married before TikTok even came out.
Yeah.
Before there were YouTubers really putting themselves out there in DR and putting themselves out there in Thailand, putting themselves out there in Colombia, we were already going on our third, fourth, fifth year in our relationships. So even if they came out, they couldn't distract us as easily. You see what I'm going with that? Is that how some of you guys feel about it too?
We weren't influenced by influencers.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it's as simple as that because there's so much noise now. And the thing is, the noise is the distraction. How can noise lead you to finding the love of your life? How can noise make you determine the love of your life? And the funny thing is, even though, like I said, commercially we're the face, like Solo said, but in reality, if you start trying to talk about what we're talking about so we the simps, and it's like, oh, brother, don't come here talk about that love. It's just not yours, it's your turn. You know what I'm saying? All that talk.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, brother, y'all don't even realize y'all been traumatized. Y'all need to seek therapy.
To be honest, I don't be, the ones that's known, I don't see us being called simps because a lot of guys that know us, they know we went through a process to even get to that point. You know what I mean?
But this new wave of social media influencers and TikTokers and so forth, they do kind of look at us like y'all go sit at the little table. They think that they're the grown folks with the knife to cut the turkey, not realizing no, we were the one that were the trailblazers. We got the big knife and we cutting the turkey drumstick and so forth. And not because they don't realize it, and because they're in more of masses. Let's put it like this: the Passport bros majority have more in common than the women that complain about them, because anybody that's in a solidified relationship, they whine about us just like the women in the States whine about them. So no matter what we do, we got to hear it not only from the women in the States, we got to hear from fellow Passport bros and then the beta males. So we get it from every angle, and it has not impacted us and affected us or infected us at all.
I think
I agree. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll make a quick thing because one thing is like just like what he was saying of love purpose, and he was saying how a lot of that noise, especially in a lot of these WhatsApp group, like you will see a lot of brothers that are like hurt, and they don't even want to admit that they're hurt or jaded, and they will talk crazy like exactly what he was saying about how hey, you're simps if you want to go ahead and get married and things like that. I'll never get married. Something wrong with you, and it was like, it's like we're not a monolith. We don't have to. We all don't have to be like that. We all don't have to do that whole thing. So, like just like Andrew was saying, hey, we are the trailblazers for this whole situation of getting married and seeing what it's like with a different, different environment of relationship than what people are used to in the United States and so forth. And at times I'm thinking like, these dudes that be talking all that craziness, I'm like, so what is the purpose of you even doing this? Why are you wasting your time even going out here traveling and creating relationships to go back home and to do what you're doing in the States? Like, I mean, it's kind of like this. Look at this. After from going to Ruth Chris, are you really going to go back to McDonald's? Like, come on, that don't make any sense. So, so why are you even talking like that? That you ain't going to do nothing. And of course, a lot of brothers, they talk that stuff, and the brothers that actually will take you on the side and will actually, ask you questions about, what you do with women and so forth. So it's always about a sometimes, a demeasuring contents in these groups, but then, outside of these groups is a whole different story. So, I've done seen it all. It's
Exactly.
crazy.
Outside of the groups.
Yeah, it's important to know that, what we've done is we go where we're appreciated. But that requires us to make a choice and make a decision to go where we feel appreciated. That requires grit and it requires courage. A lot of passport brothers talk about traveling and talk about all these different things, and they try to make it, it's a glamorous life, and people envy that. But the real mark of a man is what are his convictions, right? And it takes conviction to marry someone from another culture, to be learned in their culture, to be learned in their language, and to be appreciated in their culture, and you appreciate their culture as well. That requires a lot of courage. And I don't know how many people that are in this space that can actually do it.
No.
I gotta get this. I gotta get through my list, man. But being married is a big boy. Well, it's a big boy thing. And we're gonna get into that in a little bit. It's a big boy thing, man. To be able to position yourself, to live in another country, that is big boy stuff. That means you got to be doing stuff in the U.S. to position yourself to be out of the country. So we'll get into that. But I want to start someone out with you, brother Drake. So I wanted to talk about the dynamics. So we got different dynamics on this panel. So you got so my marriage dynamic is I am in the United States. I am back and forth between Colombia, basically a long distance marriage. You know what I mean? A long distance marriage. My wife is from the city of Cartagena, and like I said, and she speaks English. I speak Spanish, but her English is better than my Spanish. So that's kind of our dynamic. Brother Andre, his dynamic is he's in Colombia. His wife is in Colombia. His wife can speak English. Andre, he okay with the Spanish. Solo traveler, his dynamic is him and his wife is in the United States. His wife doesn't speak English, and his Spanish is trash. I'm just playing. So that's one dynamic. So we're gonna touch on dynamics. Ty, I don't know your dynamic. You're in Colombia with your wife.
Correct.
Like you said, she doesn't speak English, right?
Correct.
And you don't speak Spanish, right?
No, I speak. Amor, ¿qué es mi? ¿Cuál es la calidad de mi español? ¿Está bien? El número.
Okay.
Flex on the brother.
He just went boom. He just went boom.
I'm not gonna say, I can show you, bro. I can tell you, right?
All right. So his language dynamic is his language is stronger than his wife's when it comes to the opposite language. And then Mr. Pro for you, his wife speaks English. You're working on Spanish, and y'all both are in the Dominican Republic.
I'm not working on Spanish. I'm working on Dominican Spanish.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a difference. There is a difference.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
So we got these different. So we got these different dynamics, and as I asked this question, you could kind of talk about your dynamic in particular. But I wanted to ask you, Brother Andre, because one thing I think I had mentioned when we talked offline was like personality, and one thing I learned about myself, and why certain relationships for me didn't last in the United States, because I have a strong personality. I have a more of a controlling personality. So my personality type limits my options with women. Like I can recognize that my personality type limits myself with women, and some other personality types, they probably have more options because they may have a more complementary personality. So I want to kind of, you to kind of talk about what you think about personality difference and what makes your relationship with your wife work, opposed to maybe a different man that may have a different type of personality that may not work with your spouse.
My Andrea is kind of like she's in business management. She's accountant, corporate accountant down here. So she and she has a team under her. So Andrea's always been in control. Point. Even when she was 13, her nickname in junior high school before she graduated in junior high school before she graduated into high school was Mom. She was the one that for student council. She was the one that if the class acted up, Andrea would go. She said, I will go to my teacher and say, excuse us for what we did today. I'll have a talk with them before the next day of class. Those type of things. And so she gives me the freedom, my dynamic of wife gives me the freedom to trust her ability to make proper decisions for the family. So Andrea can come to me and say, I made your doctor's appointment for this. I got this set up for you. I just got done picking up your prescription for this. We got appointments to go to the gym at so and so and so. And we got yoga coming up at about, do you want to do it at 2 o'clock? Or you want to do it at 4 o'clock? And so she gives me the peace to focus on the business side of our relationship, and also the don't forget to buy my wife flowers side, or don't forget to give my wife do something special for her side, because she gives me that ability. A lot of guys can get in relationships and you can't trust your wife to take care of certain things. And you find yourself still having to take care of certain business dynamics of the relationship. And for me, her personality works best for me. For other guys, Andrea's strong personality in the sense of not having to be controlled, it may not work for them. I know my wife is being that Scorpio. Scorpios are hard on the outside, really soft on the inside. But in that dynamic, what I mean by that, once they fall for you, they give you the universe. The only thing is, if you mess it up, they will take the universe. They will take it. They do not play. They will give you everything, will spoil you, treat you like royalty. But if you mess up one hand, you can let it go, because you ain't gonna get nothing but the stinger from that day forward. and so her grandma, I can tell, being a Scorpio, her dad, I can tell. And so that's what's helped me out in regards to our dynamic. It's the trust factor of, I can not only her business side, I can trust her to always be a lady. When my wife walks out the door, she's always, for the most part, she's always dressed well. Even if she's going to the grocery store, even if she just got shorts and t-shirts on, my wife has an air of a ladylikeness about her that if any of you guys came across, hey, Andrea, you know that you're walking up to a lady and you're not, or somebody that's feminine, in other words, like many of our wives. And that's why my wife jailed so easily with your wife when you guys came down, Rob, because your wife has an air of feminineness, and like attracts like, and it made it a lot easier for it gives me a lot of peace when my wife has that feminine side that I can trust as well. But also she has that side of the ability to correct me, and she doesn't feel like, let me hold back. Andre might get upset. She could just say what she needs to say because she trusts me. So she does have that side, because I don't need a yes wife. That's the last a yes wife will lead you in the wrong direction. So when people think we get married, they only married the women because they submissive and they cook and have baby. Like, wait a minute, I do not have a yes wife, and I've seen these guys' wives, and they do not seem like yes women. So you want your wife to have those abilities. So that's the dynamic that those three areas are the benefits that Andre gives me in regards to the dynamics of our relationship. And I don't think every man can handle that.
Man, I want to pass it to Brother
trying to-
Ty, man, in this one. Then we go to you, Solo Traveler, and then you, Mr. Pro, for you. Talk about personality types and how your personality type vibes with your wife, and maybe your personality type didn't vibe with maybe your ex-wife. Just want to kind of get people to understand like personality and the type of woman or type of options that you may have.
Okay. It's interesting that Andre talked about Scorpios. I'm a Scorpion, and so my personality is that I'm very how can I say? You know, I'm trying to word it in such a way that it can be relatable. I went through officer candidate school in the Marine Corps, and that kind of fit my personality. I'm probably more leadership oriented, at times overbearing and overpowering. So what my wife does is she softens me, right? So she gives me that other half, and a lot of it has to do with, like Andre said, trust, right? Because a lot of times my personality is such that I could have this hardcore outer casing, because I don't trust that someone would take care of that soft side that I have. And my wife does that. She takes care of that, where I don't have to worry that she's going to say something or do something to destroy me. She doesn't try to destroy me. She always builds me, right? And so she kind of levels me out. And so if we have a disagreement, of course, it can be elevated at times. And so we just need some time. And for me, I don't like to argue. I will just withdraw. But my wife will come and take me out of my cave, and we will have a discussion, right? And so that's, it has rounded me. It has not only rounded me, it has grounded me, and it's helped me become, in essence, it helps me become a better person and become a better leader and a better man. And that's what my wife does for me.
That's what's up, man. Another super chat from Brother Victory, man. He said the Bible says a man who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Find a woman who raised to be a wife prior to marriage. Most westernized women are not raised to be wives. Let me touch on that real quick. Something my wife said, and because she's good in the home and things like that. And I was like, man, your mom raised you to be a wife. And she said no. She said my mom just instilled good values in us. She didn't teach me how to cook for a man. She didn't teach me how to clean for a man. She taught me how to cook and clean and do certain things so I could have value. And when she said that, as a Colombian woman, I want to say that being controlling, I've learned this, being controlling doesn't fly with a lot of Colombian women. They use the word el tigre. They don't need to be controlled because they are proud of how they were raised. So they're offended that you didn't give them an opportunity to show you that they can be a good woman. Let them show you. You don't have to get it out of them. They're gonna show you. They're gonna show respect. And so, as we're talking about type of personalities, like I said, I have a controlling personality by nature. I have a strong personality, which sometimes me and my wife have friction and bump heads sometimes just because of my personality. But she's one of the few women that can tolerate my personality. Colombian women can tolerate personalities too. They're not very weak. They don't give up on relationships, opposed to my experience in the United States. Women in the United States can be very sensitive. I could yell at my wife, or I could use force for my wife. She may get upset, but it's never to the point where she just want to leave and give up. So I just wanted to talk about that, and guys that have strong personalities or do want to be controlling, some of these Latin countries might not be for you, because and some of you guys may already figure that out. So I don't want to stereotype areas, but maybe other regions of the world where you can be a little bit more, more aggressive or pushy or controlling may be more cultural for them. But as far as being submissive, they do their job. That's their form of submission, doing their part. But I just wanted to get that out. I want to get a response for Mr. Pro for you on this topic, as far as your personality type and why your personality type works with your situation, and basically would it be basically would any personality type work with a woman like your wife, for example?
Okay, so my wife, she works with offshore companies here, and she runs the English department and assesses English, and she's in charge of hiring and firing and all that. So she's a professional, and in that world, and she's in charge in that world. But in our relationship, I mean, I'm a man. I have my personality. I won't say, it's a masculine personality. I mean, we are masculine, but the thing is, in these Latin countries, we can speak on the difference between masculine and feminine, because when she comes home, that's the most feminine woman I've ever seen. Her femininity. I was telling some people, I said, I get all these kisses that I got to act like I don't like, because if I started acting like I liked them, I just wouldn't look right. You know what I'm saying? It's just, the amount of affection that I get, and she just enjoys her femininity. She lives within her femininity. We talk about femininity in these spaces, and coming out to these countries, and they're feminine, but she breathes femininity. She walks femininity. She talks femininity. Me, I walk and I talk masculinity. But the interesting thing is, when we come from the States, we are, and I say it again, we kind of traumatized from the interactions there. But when you come here, like Dre always says, you're expected to be the man. You're expected to, exist in your masculinity. My personality is different from each one of you brothers. And so, and my wife's personality is different from each one of you brothers' personalities. But her femininity and my masculinity click, and that's why we here. That's why we're able to, sit here and talk this. Because I mean, between these 5 brothers, we kind of like cover the spectrum. Like we got everything covered, for this international marriage thing, and love abroad. But this brother says, No Excuse says that he's has a controlling personality, or he's strong. I'll just say a strong personality. My personality is strong, but that's where I come from, but when you come to these countries, and your strong personality in the States is different from your strong personality here, because your strong personality it's okay, but it comes with responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But we need some more than just that strongness. You know what I'm saying? So it's I will say to brothers who haven't experienced it yet, when you get here, get to these other countries, and you have, you're able to exist in your masculinity.
Right.
Good answer.
It's not just an emotion. It's not just a feeling. it's a doing, you know what I mean, that needs to be followed behind it. And everything is, you know, everything is copacetic, you know, if you're with the right woman. So, you know, I was blessed to be with the right woman. And just like I said, her femininity is, you know, I can't even explain it. You know, it's daily. It's in everything, you know, between the, you know, the way she gives me the food, you know, the way she greets me in the morning, the way if she's waking me up, though she wakes me up, the way you know, she bathes me, you know, the way you know, it's she exists in that. And I have no problem with it. I love it. I'm here because of it. I'm here for it. But when we come from the States, we have been we have gone through a struggle to exist in our masculinity, you know, and so, you know, that's something that brothers will find that they may have to adjust to. But you know, as for me, you know, and mine, I always take it back to we gotta choose right. You know, that's one thing I put on the man. You know, a brother could tell me the worst stories that he wants to. You could tell me a story about every chick in the Dominican Republic or Colombia, because all I hear about is Medellin and what's the other spot?
Cartagena.
Medellin and Cartagena. I don't hear nobody talk about Cali except Dre. And when Dre talk about it, he like, don't come here. This is the first Friday night I ain't see Dre with a drink in his hand. I ain't even recognize you, bro. You had, you know, I ain't seen you.
I'm just doing
like
agua
this.
now.
I got ready. I got my drink ready. I know he's gonna ask me, you know, what I got tonight.
Oh, okay.
He's ask me what I got tonight. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Dre. But you know, I'm just saying, you know, this is the experience, you know, and you know, it's for the real men who want the real experience. You know, the dudes who are complaining are the same dudes that are gonna complain everywhere. You know, and you know, as far as me and mine, you know, thank God I was able to recognize, because the brother who doesn't recognize what's for him, woe is him. You know, because she'll pass you. Just like opportunities, right? Don't opportunities pass every brother? There's no brother that opportunity ain't passed, but you ain't recognize it or you wasn't ready for it.
Hey, let me say this real quick. Every Dominican woman that was of good quality, when we broke up, another man scooped her up and she's married and they're married. So
I've heard that too.
So if you would have passed up or messed up your situation, you who knows, you'll still be looking right now.
I took, you know, 7 years to getting like this in the same place, same time. That's what I was saying. Like, brothers see me in the videos, like, man, you trying too hard. Hey, brothers see me clowning and acting, you know, laughing and joking all the time in my videos, but they're like, bro, you don't even understand our journey. You know what I'm saying? We both here and we're excited about finally being together. You know, we went through this journey. We went through the sacrifice. We went through the hard times. We went through everything to get here. And you think we're not going to be laughing? You think I'm not going to have her laughing and joking and joyous and all that? Come on, brother. Get you one and you'll understand.
Correct.
Man, solo traveler, man. Your relationship dynamic, man, and how your personality meshes with your wife. And what type of personality maybe wouldn't mess with your wife?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this first. I'm gonna say this. You know what? You know, I've been trying to figure this out, Andre. I've been trying to make my wife a yes, ma'am. You know, yes, sir. You know, I can't break her down. It ain't happening now. So, but to give you guys a little bit of history. So, for me, I'm very strong. My characteristics and so forth is very strong as a leader. I like things to be done a certain way and so forth. That's just how I am. I've always been this type of person. I've always been, you know, the leadership position whatever it comes down to work or just, you know, management or just, you know, having kids and so forth. So, and looking at the dynamic with my wife, hers that ever since the age of 13, she's the oldest child. So she has always been the one to be in charge of the family, all the kids and so forth. So all her brothers, all her sibling brothers and sisters, they look at her as the, you know, the second mother. So I had to learn, you know, to understand the whole situation, how we would clash with that, because, you know, I'm very like, hey, you know, this is how it's gonna be, you know, it needs to be this way, you know, I'll plan things out. And she sometimes she's like, well, you know, I don't know about that, you know, I might want to, you know, different way, you know. So so that's where it comes down to the fact that, you know what, once we understood each other, it kind of works out, the fact that, you know, she uses that ability to take care of the house here that is here. And for me, I just take care of the surrounding of everything of the family, such as the bills, such as, you know, just you know, security with the family, you know, doing things together as a whole family. So it kind of works out that, you know, with her strong points, it actually works out for the family, for the house that is, and my strong points, it works out for the entire household that is. So that's the first thing, you know. And with that, with her femininity, I love her femininity, you know, of the stuff that she does. Just like what a lot of, you know, just like Love Purpose and Passports was saying, you know, who's saying how, you know, serving me, you know, giving my meals and so forth, making sure that the house is clean. I mean, for me, I love I love the days whenever she's playing her music, although some of it I don't like, you know. I love reggaeton, that's me, I love reggaeton, but you know, she likes some of that the so-called country music. But I know that whenever she's playing that, it's going down. She's about to start cleaning up the house and, you know, get things in order. So, so me, I actually enjoy. I learned to enjoy that, you know, of her doing a lot of that stuff, and it compliments me, you know, because the fact that I'm constantly always busy, you know, for what I do, you know, for work and so forth, as a senior network engineer. So I'm work long hours, and during that time, she's making sure everything is in order, you know, for when I get off and when I'm done, and then that's it. You know, the family is coming together. We're doing our things. Like usually tonight, we usually do a game night or a family night with the kids, and you know, so it kind of works out that way. So, you know, all out just to say, our dynamics, we made it work. I mean, of course, we have our times, and when we, you know, we're saying, you know, hey, I don't agree with that. You know, she don't agree with this, and I don't agree with that. You know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's just for the moment. Afterwards, we just, you know, we let it go, and you know, we moving on and try to, you know, make things better to what it should be. So we work on that.
And I'm calling you talking about, hey, bro, my wife is getting on my nerves with this.
Yo, I be telling him times, yo, we be having personal conversations. I be like, sometimes I'm like, yo, I be trying to tell my wife, I'm gonna send her back. I'm done. She ain't going nowhere. But so yo.
So this leads me to my next segue about what gets on your nerves. But let me answer some questions that was asked earlier real quick.
That's a good question.
Does your wife actually wear a wedding ring in Colombia? I'd be afraid they would be robbed.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah. I got something that is. So for me, I actually purchased 2 rings for my wife. So I actually purchased the expensive one, and I also purchased like a cheap little $100 ring. And in the end, my wife, she ended up wearing both rings. She didn't give a care. So I'm like, what the hell? You know, the one ring was so that you didn't get jacked up for the other one. But one thing is that I noticed for Colombia, which is good, is that because of the type of ring that I bought my wife, I got her white gold. And they and with black diamonds. And they don't really know too much about that over there where she's at, in the area when she was over there in Medellin and so forth. So because they're used to that gold, you know, the gold color. So they really didn't mess with her whenever she had her wedding ring on and so forth. So that it worked out for us, you know, for that standpoint.
Let me answer this real quick, and I'm gonna pass it to Todd, then Dre, then Mr. Pro for you. Yeah, she wears a ring. She wears a ring, and sometimes I'd be nervous. I'd be like, you know, why don't you, you know, take it off when you go certain places? Because sometimes I take mine off in Colombia, you know. But one thing I admire about my wife, she never took off her ring. And it shows me how appreciative she is. Like, she never takes it off when she goes to the gym, anywhere. Like, she always has it on. Even when we video chat, I always want to, just for my ego, I just like to see the ring on her finger, you know. And she always got it on. So you know, I gotta get insurance, but I'm, you know, what I mean, you could insure, you could get some type of insurance that would cover that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to add, Todd, to that? Oh, you on mute, bro? You on mute? Hold on.
Thank you. Like Solo Traveler, I got the white gold with the black diamond, but it was a 3-ring set. So what she'll do is she'll wear one of the 3, but she won't wear the one with the diamond. She'll wear the one that's a lot less, gaudy. It's very obscure, and so she'll wear that. And what's interesting is that when we're going out somewhere, like right now we're on vacation, so I'm gonna have to cut this a little bit short, give you a couple of minutes. But she always wears her ring, and she'll always make sure that I have mine too. And one thing about Colombia that I really enjoy, that I like, is that if we're walking about, she grabs my hand and we're walking hand in hand. And you see a lot of couples, a lot of couples that do that. And that wasn't something I was accustomed to, being in the States and coming back. But that's just a way of showing affection, and I really, really appreciate that too. So.
Hey, with that 3-ring combo, hey, is it just like basically you have like 2 small little rings and you have the big ring in the middle? Is it something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the same set for my wife. Same thing. So the side rings, they like black diamonds, while the big middle one is the white diamond, but it may have some like black diamonds on the side or so. Exactly. Yeah, that's tight. That's dope.
All right, what about you, brother Andre?
It's kind of funny. I did the white gold with white diamonds. So I felt just like the other guys did, that here in Colombia that they weren't up on the white gold. So they look at it like maybe silver or something that's not as, valuable to gold. And here in Colombia, gold also has a spiritual significance as well. So that's where they're so into gold like that. But Andrea we purchased her a fake gold ring and a really inexpensive gold band. So she has a solid gold, 18 karat gold, just regular thin band. And she has a ring that when she wants to be Miss Fashion, which is most of the time, but that one's not real. That's the fake one. And like if we go into family events, that's when she'll pull out the gold one. Or like when you guys, the real one. Or like when you guys come to town, you may have your girl with you. She'll pull out the real one. But other than that, she spends more time just making sure I got mine on. Like we go to the gym. Oh, you single today? Oh, because Colombians don't know sarcasm, so she's learning sarcasm from me. So I'm extremely sarcastic. She's like, oh, so we single today. So that's what we doing. We ain't married. Ain't no love in the house or nothing. Just because I forget. You see what I'm saying, Todd? Yeah. So you kind of like
That's what that way I see.
So you kind of like slide the ring on. You're like, oh, okay, can I just stepped out the shower? Can I just slide the ring? Slide the ring on? And, but for the and she doesn't say it like an insecure, jealous way, but it is a purpose behind it. It does show a solidification of the relationship. But I'm with you guys. But I don't, for the most part, my wife doesn't walk around all the time, everywhere with the ring. The other thing is, I feel more secure because we have our own truck, our own vehicle. So Andrea is jumping from point A to point B. She's not standing out there waiting for an Uber. She's not standing out there waiting for a taxi. She's just walking out of Exeter, the grocery store, straight into the truck. So that makes me a little bit more comfortable in regards to somebody kind of like let me get that ring type of thing.
Yep, I noticed they get got whenever they're waiting for Uber or for the taxi. Always getting got. Same thing with my mother-in-law. That's how she, get her phone stolen and so forth, get robbed because of that. But also I actually bought myself 2 rings too. Just because of the fact that I don't like being gaudy. So I actually got me a black ring that I ring every day. My wife hates it because she always want me to wear the flashy one. I'm like, no, I only wear that one for like special occasions.
I got the black rubber ring too, and Andrea doesn't like it.
Oh, really?
I said, but this in the States, this is what we do. Right. This is what we do. I said, because men lose rings. We don't want to lose it. Okay, so let us lose the rubber ring.
What about you, Mr. Pro, for you?
So I appreciate all the brothers' stories, you know what I mean? But about being able to get the distraction range, the other ones, but my wife has been robbed twice.
Oh
You know what I'm saying? So,
sorry to hear
and one before I knew her and one while I knew her, but I wasn't here. Pulled up on the side. She's we in the capital and she's from La Capitale. So when the motos pull up, that's what it is. And so with her, it was like, just get the, just the basic band, because if I give her a dummy ring or a ring that's looks like it might be the real thing, well, when they pull up, it's the real thing. My wife is fine, man. And then, she's fine in pictures. Then in video, she gets finer. But in real life, when, you got the walk and the talk attached to it and the mannerisms, it's a whole different ball game. Because my wife is like 5'10", and when she put the heels on, she jumps up there. And so when they come, they looking, she looks like the target. She looks like she has it, whether she has it or doesn't have it. So for us, she got the band, I got the band, and we rocking with the meaning. You know what I'm saying? We rocking with it because if we put something on it that looks like it, they go think it looks like it because she looks like it. You know what I mean? I'm not a short brother neither. You know what I'm saying? I'm 6'2", and so we both walking and looking the part. Me, I come from where they do that, so I'm not overly concerned. But her by herself, when she's doing her thing, it's a whole different program. You know what I'm saying? So, we rocking with the basics and let the meaning stand out.
There you go.
I'm gonna get the next question to Todd because I know he's on vacation. Shout out real quick, Zero to Hero. He said shout out to an underrated YouTuber, man. What's good? What's up, man? Appreciate the $10 super chat, man.
Shout out to Zero to Hero.
So you can kick this one off, Todd, and then if you got a bounce, man, it's all good, man. We're gonna continue doing this at least on a monthly basis. So something I put in my notes about foreign. What I've noticed about foreign women is that I noticed that a lot of a misconception I had is that, let's say Colombian men, let's say they're machismo, or let's say they're known to be cheaters and have, they're known to do a lot of stuff. Just like in the U.S., a foreign man is not going to be able to get away with what a local man can get away with. Have you noticed that? Or any of you guys noticed that? True.
Yep. Oh,
that's true.
We had it a high regard.
Just the fact that we're in another country. There are certain things that we have to be wary of a lot of different things too. I mean, being an extra hero, we're a target. They already know. I mean, we might look Colombian, but the moment we open our mouth, they know right away that we're a target. So we're not going to be able to get away with a lot of the same things because we're going to be, not because we're held to a higher standard. It's because they think that it's an opportunity for them to get over on us, right? I mean, the price always seems to be a little bit higher for someone who's not from there than from someone who's a local. Or the behavior, the behavior is going to be, the expectation of behavior is going to be different. If I get into an argument with a local in the street, it's going to be escalated, and then I'm going to be the one that's going to be looked at crazy because I'm not from there.
More of like a relationship you can't get away with. Like, for example, with my wife, how should I say this? So let's just say I know a lot of women in Colombia where their fathers had outside children, right? And the mother stayed with them. They accepted it. They're not going to accept that from a foreign man.
I'm not even going to touch that because I'm not even thinking that way. I wouldn't even know.
Well, yeah, so, but I'm using that as an example. But as far as, because it's things that it's because I want to address things that guys may go into these countries thinking that, because some guys go to these countries and hear about their men and believe that they can be like those men in those countries. Just like if you're in the U.S., a man may be able to get away with something with an American black woman that she might not let a Nigerian man get away with, so to speak. Because in her mind is like, if I'm going to deal with this from you, I might as well be with a local man. So that's kind of where I'm going with that.
Well, I would just say that I have a great respect for the way that Colombian women handle knives. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Any of y'all want to touch on that?
I'll chime in. I think that we're in serious relationships,
right?
So there's no trying to get away with anything. When you're in a serious relationship and you're really about that life of being in a serious relationship, being in a marriage. So I think that it's a little bit different for us. I mean, so we could turn around like this. I do hear that, let's say, for instance, Dominican dudes think American men are soft.
Okay.
Because what they do with their women versus when we come here, based on our culture, and we come here and we baby face. And I say we, I'm not talking about we, I'm talking about, we, I'll do all these things as soon as you get home from work, baby face, type thing. And that's the way they see it. And, but as far as the question of, what can we get away with? I mean, if you're married, what you trying to get away with? That's the way I see it. I don't know how to see it no other way, because we're in this relationship and we got here by, through trial and, fire and, understanding that this is what we do. So we moving forward together, because if we try to get away with something, then we're not moving in the same place and we can't get no further.
Or let's put it in this way. We're four men are put set at a higher. They have higher standards for us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Than their own.
There's so when you're saying for let's say like this, for American men, their expectations are higher. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, not only financially, but the way to be treated, being more, being more romantic, this and that. Things that they compliment us on. So
we are. I say that.
But there are guys that aren't looking for. There are guys that think that they can mimic their men and bring and match that machismo culture. And so I'm trying to let them know that for women anywhere is not going to accept you treating them. They want you to treat them better than their men treat them. That's basically what I'm trying to get at.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Excellent point.
Yeah, and mimicking, how far is that gonna get you?
Gonna get you the same thing that the local men get. The same. A bunch of kids, alcohol problem. Let's talk about in my case, the Afro-Colombian community. Afro-Colombian men are known just for drinking and having a bunch of kids. So my competition really here in Colombia, if I'm real with it, it ain't that big. All I got to do is just act like I got some dang sense in my head, which I do. You can outdo the average Afro-Colombian dude and get an Afro-Colombian woman. She treating you like she would never introduce her father to this dude until she got pregnant. But she want to introduce you to her dad because my dad knows English too. Man. And I would love to introduce you to my just on that scale. You do have a higher expectation because you also come on a higher class level. They don't expect men with class to act classless or to what term can I use? To mimic or almost imitate the classless men that they already deal with. Because just like one of you guys already said about women in the States, well, women that feel the same way in these foreign countries. Why should I get with you if you equivalent to what I already got here?
Yeah.
So there is a higher expectation of us. And with many of us being men of education and of drive, it's the same thing that's expected of us in the States if we were to get married in the States. We aren't expected to be Pookies and Ray Rays with all the education and business and the drive and desires that we have. So if we pretend to be a Pookie and a Ray Ray, sisters gonna be looking at us. Let's say we were in the States. Sisters in the States will look at us like, what is wrong? What? I thought he was different, girl.
I thought you was different.
I didn't know you was like that. I didn't know you was like the rest of them. I thought you was. You see what I'm saying? They have a higher expectation of us. So it is with foreign women when it comes to their local dudes. There is no jealousy, or if anything, I consider, and this is just Andre saying something for the first time. I consider Colombian men some of the weakest men I've ever seen. These dudes cry over everything. Where you at? Where you going? Where you been? They want the female. She can have a girls' night. Andrea's girlfriend spent half the time texting these Negroes back. Baby, I only had one girls' night in the last 5 months. Watch the kids. And the dudes be texting all night long. These dudes are ultra jealous, ultra sensitive. They will lose a job in the name of chasing down a female. Am I lying, guys, that deal with that watch Colombian dudes?
Yeah.
These are the softest. The machismo comes off initially like he getting all the ladies. He tough, he strong hand. But when you watch it for what it is, you're like, you're soft. Y'all soft.
And it starts with the mother, because the mother, baby the son, like they treat the son like he is just like how how it is in the States, how like the girl gets to be babied and so forth. No, that's how they do the men. They like, I be looking at how my wife be treating her son. I be looking like, nah, man, he can't be like that with him. He gonna need to toughen up. Like, you can't be
my wife's
like
brother
that.
like that. My wife's brother's like that. My wife's uncles are like that. My wife's mom has 7 kids, 4 girls, 3 boys. Every boy is made of gold. All the girls, they're girls. I love them, but the boys. You can't tell Andrea's grandmama nothing about her baby boys. And these dudes in their 40s, you can't tell them nothing about her babies. And so it makes them, in my eyes, personally, when you've been mothered or baby like that, me being compared to a Colombian dude, I'm like, you Negroes soft, dude. Y'all too soft for me. Or you come across as tough. Oh, man. And speaking this, I understand the bravado of manhood. I got you on that tough side. But at the end of the day, when it comes to relationships, you dudes can't compete. Y'all ain't no competition for me.
It's like the bravado in the hood in the States.
Yeah. Girl, Pookie can't compare to me. Stop it.
And I think Anthony said it best. He says basically a lot of women treat their sons better than the daughters. And sometimes I can see that sometimes. Like as much as they give love to the daughters, but they baby their son.
But my wife says the Colombian men are like Bugs Bunny. That's what she calls them, Bugs Bunny. I mean, from their stature to the way that they carry themselves. I mean, and Andre, tell me if this hasn't happened to you. When you walk into a gym, everyone stops to look at you because they haven't seen it.
Especially the type of energy we give off as American black men. There's a certain confidence in the air. Even Pookie got it, but a certain confidence in the air because we grew up hearing about stock market. Even if you ain't invested in it, you know what it is as a kid and as a teen or in college. You grew up with a confidence of your television stars or your football stars being the best in the world, the number one actors in the world. You see what I'm saying? So when you go to these other countries, unless you reach for a J Balvin or a Bad Bunny, you don't know who their number one is because they ain't the number one in the. So we come across with the term hustler is a U.S. term. So even just walking in the gym without even trying to present that American energy. I remember one time somebody asked Andre, about her husband. She said, "Well, this is my husband." She pulled out the photo. Oh, he's not from here. And Andre was like, "Yeah, he's from here." Just to they were like, "No, no. Something in that photo, that energy that he's projecting in that photo, shows us that brother ain't from here."
Mhm.
And so they can tell, even though we have the complexion, but we do give off an energy. And then when we start speaking, that really confirms what they already thought within their minds, that person not from here. So we do have a higher standard, a higher expectation about us, because the Colombian man will, let's be real. Dudes in DR and dudes in Colombia ain't gonna compete with us for the most part on most levels, other than just having the kids.
I mean, we're accustomed to rising to the occasion.
Thank you.
You know,
we used to being Samuel Jacksons,
how we
coming
do
from
it.
being crackheads and going to the top. I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just like, my wife's father, he was out of town when we got married.
Mm-hmm.
And my pops was like, "Did you talk to her pops yet?" I'm like, "He was out of town." But even without my pops saying that to me, this is how I was raised, because that's my pops said it because he knows how we are. So after we got married, when I finally got to, holler at her pops, I'm like, "Look, and it's funny because I had my wife translate. She knew what I was going to say. I'm like, "Look, me and, your daughter got married, but even though we already married, I would like to receive your blessing,
Mm-hmm.
even though we've already done this."
Mm-hmm.
And, he was so impressed by the way I worded. I mean, he loves me. He was like,
Yeah.
"Nah, you my son." What other dudes are doing, and the other dudes that, as far as me and her pops, I mean, we got a bond that can't be broken because of the way I
Mm-hmm.
stepped to him, once we got married. And I can tell that, he wasn't, it's not that whether he was expecting it or not, because a daddy always going to want, he's always going to expect, the moon and the stars for his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
But when I stepped to him and I said what I said and, came at him the way I did, it's like, he loves me to death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's like, "No, you my son." And so, yeah, we as, we used to rising to the occasion. And mind you, we are the brothers that are married. We are the brothers that, we might not get recognized as the face of things, but we are the brothers that have pioneered certain things that other brothers, are still, shying away from because of what people say. But nah, brothers, you know what I'm saying? We step to it and we make it happen.
Man, that
And they respect us for that.
one thing I'm hearing is that we are representing quality black men, and just the fact that we were raised, or we know to reach out to the parents, whether it was the mother. I reached out to my wife's father before we got married, because I've always had those traditional values, and I never was able to exercise them in the US because I couldn't find a traditional woman to compliment me. But yeah, just the fact that hearing you guys, have the know to get the blessings from the father, that speaks on just the type of black men that a lot of people say that wasn't out there, that exists. So so it's good to hear that. I want to get another question to Todd, and then we could circle around. So we had these. So we had some discussions about traveling with our spouses, right? And I spoke to Andre about it, and solo traveling. And what I noticed is that the Colombian passport and the Dominican is a little bit more stringent. There's a lot of limitations on international travel. Like, in some countries that I want to go to later this year, and I'm looking on a website seeing what the visa free countries are, and I'm just like, man, like it's it's going to be challenging. And I wanted to bring my wife. I want to go to South Africa this year, and South Africa is like a first world country. It's just like me trying to get her a tourist visa for the U.S. And Colombia, don't have a lot of embassies. So they said that for her to she had to send her application to either Venezuela or Peru. And that's if we want to go to Thailand. So it was just like, so it made me realize, and then the flight prices going on the other side of the world is much more than going from the US. So you know, I want to just talk about certain challenges, you know what I mean, that, you know, I've incurred. And one of those things was, you know, traveling to different countries due to their weaker passport. You know, I don't know if you got anything you want to.
Yeah, that certainly is a limitation, you know, of traveling and that's one of the things that, you know, having that blue passport gives you, you know, access to a lot of places that other passports don't. That's for sure. Also, the language barrier too, because, you know, a lot of people in here in Colombia that I'm aware of, that they're not, you know, bilingual. Not a lot of people are bilingual that could go to other places and be able to have a quality experience. But you know, there for me, there are plenty of places in South America that I'd like to go to as well. So that is not as much of an issue for me. But I will have to excuse myself at this particular point in time, because I do want to make sure I give my family the attention that I need to while we're here on vacation. But I just wanted to say, you know, I really appreciate each and every one of you. I'm really honored to be on this panel with you guys. I've learned a lot, and you know, I appreciate the fact that, you know, iron sharpens iron, and I've learned a lot from you guys. And I appreciate you guys for sharpening me as well. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming up, fam.
No problem. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Peace and success. Okay.
Peace out.
All right, Todd.
All right.
All right, Todd.
Yep. So
as it pertains to the weaker passports.
Well, I know one thing for me, I could say is that, you know, I'm taking my wife to about 4 or 5 different countries now. But see, the thing about it is that I take her all throughout Latin America, so it's a little different. I think that my issue that I had, which was the first time I ever had her go out, this one went before we were living together or anything like that. So the first time I had her fly out, it was trying to explain to her how the whole process works, as far as, you know, getting to the airport, as far as checking in, you know, having, you know, how to stack your bags, how to I'm sorry, not stack, but how to fill up your bags and so forth, not to make them over too heavy, or, you know, how to read the actual boarding pass. So it's like that becomes to be a stringent, you know, situation, because you know, dealing with someone that has never really traveled at all. Because for us, we take it for granted, because in the States, you know, we travel to different cities, you know, which is not a problem. So for them, you know, I think it was like before, wasn't until like after the 90s when they started moving around to different cities, you know, when they were able to move around. So a lot of them used to traveling by bus to different places. I know for my wife, you know, so she's from a small city, you know, she actually uses a bus to get to San Carlos from Medellin. So to say that is that trying to get them to understand how that whole process works sometimes could be stressful, but once they get it, it's even better. But I mean, I enjoy traveling with my wife, going to different cities, different countries. That is, man, from Peru, had a good time. Aruba, Mexico, Cancun, whatever you think of. You know, I'm still trying to take her to DR. You know, but you know, probably maybe this year we'll go to DR or whatever. But you know, it's yeah. I gotta say what up, all you guys out there. But you know, it's a great experience for those of you that haven't traveled for foreign women. It's a great experience, and you definitely want to do that. Especially, you know, I want to say any woman. You know, of course, your girlfriend or fiance, your wife, and you get to see how that whole experience is compared to dealing with an American woman, because like they have different characteristics that they do, such as, I mean, I was on a panel with No Excuse Passport podcast, and I was explaining one time how, you know, you could be staying at a hotel, although you have room service, but they will still clean up the room. They will not allow room service to come in there and clean up, you know, make the beds and things like that. So you start seeing different characteristics, you know, things like that, how they operate, you know, what they do at home, they take it with them on vacation, which I think is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny that you would say that part in regards to them taking their characteristics that they have at home and still taking it on the road. I remember off the beaten path just a little bit. I remember a YouTuber, Bo Ranks, did a video in DR about traveling to DR with his wife. This video is maybe like 3 or 4 years old, maybe about 2 or 3 years old, and it got over 1 million views. He was on the beach just by himself talking about, you guys are idiots if you can't take your wife to places and travel. What are you married to her for? Why you got to lie about everything? And he just was saying, men, if you're gonna do this travel thing, be real with it. If you ain't, step back. Because we know a lot of dudes that, you know, go to DR for the boys trip, but they never take their wives anywhere.
Right.
And so for me, when it comes to other, I was great. My point in saying that, it was great to see for the first time on YouTube, a brother come out and say, hey, this traveling with your wife thing, there's nothing wrong with it. This is what you should be doing, and everything else should be secondary. Your boys trip you can still have that, but it should be a lot more trips with your wife or you with your significant other than boys trips after boys trips after boys trip. In saying that,
give me 1 second, Dre. Excuse me,
ahead.
fellas. I'm having a problem with my charger, and I don't want to drop out after I lose charge. Let me get it together, and I'm gonna pop back in.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And to piggyback off of what you're saying about the passports, I agree with you. There are certain countries that Andre and I easily can go to. For example, now they made UK easily accessible for Colombians. Right. So now we in the UK in a couple of months. Seriously. So we're gonna be all around Europe. So that's cool. But you know, when we go to Norway, there's a form that needs to be filled out. And so those things that I kind of expect, but since we're relocating, a part of the strategy of our family is we want everyone in our family to have multiple passports. So here's what our plan is. Andre, step A, I'm eligible for my residency or my citizenship this year. So let's get that out of the way. So Andre has dual passports. Now we're moving to Portugal. Bam. Andre is going to be getting the dual passport because Portugal passport is really easy to get. Our kids, bam, from birth, born with 3 passports. So when it comes to the initial, as you were saying, Rob, in regards to that initial can't go here, can't go there, you're absolutely correct. So what we're doing is laying a foundation of passports, plural, for the future of our family. So I might not be able to go to certain countries with Andrea, but in the future, because she'll be able to pull out her Portuguese passport, she can get into certain countries that Colombian passport wouldn't get her into. So that's what we're working on right now. And if I know that it only take 4 or 5 years to get it done, it's nothing to us because we want to move over there anyway. You know, a lot of her
too.
Yeah, a lot of her family moved to Europe just because they're like, I can't get to the United States. Cool, got you. Because I got my Colombian passport. She got family, moved to Italy or Spain, doing their thing, got their Spain passport, got their Italian passport. They can jump to the United States without a visa all day long. It's just the strategic moves that you decide to make as a family unit for the long haul, you know, the bigger picture that makes it more valuable. You might not be able to take her this year, but you say, you know what? I'm not going to let that stop me for our 5th year anniversary. We're going to do something about this. And so that's how Andre and I kind of move when something tries to hold. Like I always say, I don't focus on problems. I focus on solutions. Problems only last for 5 minutes in my mind. Oh man, I got a flat tire. Oh my goodness. I give myself 5 minutes to fuss. Now it's time to focus on the solution from that forward on, from that moment on. I never, ever focus on problems. I 1000% focus on the solutions. So those are the solutions that we're having. And we're excited. We already talked to an attorney that all we have to do is once the child is born, show that I'm the daddy, she the mama, and whatever country that child is born, they get a passport there, they get a passport in Colombia, and they get a U.S. passport right out the gate, day one. Oh, man, I wish my parents was thinking like that.
I know.
In the words of Jay-Z, I got 5 passports, I'm never going to jail.
Exactly. And I don't call them problems, I call those opportunities.
Right.
That's what those are.
These were great things to do.
Although Anthony Thomas said Colombian doesn't allow dual citizenship question. Yeah, Colombia does recognize dual citizenship. So if you're in that position,
Yeah.
I see Kings of Dreams put up. Let me know if you got a question for the panel. If you got a question for the panel.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say, can everyone hear me or?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to cam up, so I just bought this new webcam and it's kind of giving me some technical issues. So sorry about that. But my camera quality has stepped up tremendously. So I will figure that out. But I just wanted to say, great conversation. Salute to you. No excuse for having this. My brother Dre, brother from another mother. You already know what it is with
Oh
us.
yeah, family.
Solo, my guy. I tried to catch Todd, but I know that he had to leave, so I'll give him a call tomorrow, whatever the case is. And but my my question, I have a question in the statement. So I guess I'll go with my statement first. So one of the things I was saying in the chat is that there's this misconception of where like most brothers, most brothers are just going out to kind of manga and things like that, which is cool. Some brothers they do that, no problem. Not my thing personally, but like just to see that you guys were able to obtain a relationship, not even a relationship, but marriage, and you guys were doing the long distance thing, and I was doing that for about almost 3 years.
Hmm.
She and I had broken up, but like I see that happening, and I don't think that it's talked about enough. So I definitely appreciate this conversation. My question to you all is that do you think that the narrative of the naysayers is focused on just the people that just monger and they think like maybe like that's just like the popular talking point?
Hold on, Andre, you muted.
When you say naysayers, are you referencing other travel brothers or just the outside those that are like in the States and things like that?
I'm saying naysayers in general.
You're talking about. So
So
you're asking about the narrative.
right, so it could be fellow travelers. It could just be we could be talking about ladies. It's just people who basically what I'm saying is the haters. So it could be like could be fellow brothers who travel. It could be like I've did Unity in the Manosphere, right? And some dating coaches have some disparaging things to say, and or it could be some modern woman, whether they are black, white, whatever it is. But that's basically what I'm saying is naysayers in general.
Well, first thing I'm gonna say is that I know that this isn't for everyone. So of course, yeah, there's gonna be
Right.
a lot of naysayers. I will say that we're special. We're special gentlemen that could do this. We're part of what Pablo has said. We're part of a special gentlemen's club that that not everybody could get in. Because it takes a certain type of brother with not only resources but as well as what we provide as far as personalities and things like that. When it comes down to the naysayers, I just look at it as this. Everyone is there's always going to be people that hate because they can't do it. And they will try to discourage other people from doing it because of the fact that they know that they can't do it from their lens of their personal situation and so forth. Like a good example is a brother who doesn't make such and such amount of money that will actually tell someone who does make a lot of money, like, why would you spend money on this when they don't understand what it's like to have a certain amount of money, a certain amount of resources. So I look at it with certain brothers. This is just pointing at the brothers first, is saying that for those who saying disparaging things and don't believe that it's possible, or who've been jaded and so forth, because I look at it as they haven't put themselves out there to put themselves in a situation to make it work. That's the first thing. And then when it comes down to I guess like let's say women and things like that, I think for them it's more so the fact that, you know, especially in the culture of the United States, they don't like competition, and so they're going to disperse you no matter what, just because of the fact that that's just how it is in the United States. You know, the women believe that, you know, they have first take, and they can have their cake and eat it too, no matter what. That's my take on it.
Okay. You're right.
And what I see is it's easier to focus on the passport bro. We on TikTok. We're looking at a group of women. They complaining about the guys. Who they complaining about? They're not complaining about the married dudes.
No,
They're
that's
not
true.
complaining about the dudes in relationships, because they know that to admit that there are so many brothers going up there actually getting into these strong relationships, and they can't compete with that, it makes it hard to, it's hard pressed to not admit to yourself as a woman, I'm doing something wrong in the United States. Not all women, but many women. So who do they focus on? Let's talk about the focus. The women
Mm.
actually focus on the party boys, the passport brothers. That's, look at them, they out there pay for playboys. They focus. They never talk about us. They don't never put. They don't talk about us getting married, going to other countries. They talk about the party boys going over there and paying for ladies, or the party boys going over there and they meeting third world women, and they're with the lowest level of women, making them submiss. They only talk that because it helps the women in the states feel good about themselves, as long as they stay ignorant about the successful scenarios of women that we have and relationships that we have. So as long as they can stay stupid, they fine with it. So that's why I know that when it comes to us and the ladies will never feel comfortable with discussing, having these type of conversations with us. Just like when you guys were on that panel that one time, and you guys were trying to have rational discussion, these ladies were bringing emotion and feelings, what I feel, and you're like, okay, I'm done, because they'll never understand it. As far as who we are to the guys, and how they see us, the guys already know deep down inside we're the special forces. They're just the privates and a few sergeants, but we're special forces.
If
We're the
that.
special trained for this. We've been trained to jump out of parachutes and just jump to the depths of the ocean to do this thing. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Every dude can't do a 7-year bit with a woman. Every dude can't do the
Right.
4-year bit that we did. Every dude can't do a 3-year bit like we did. We special
Right.
forces. So when these dudes try to sit back and say, well, every man got a choice, or you can't D watch another man, or you can't pocket watch another man's money. Dude, you giving me excuses, but you ain't giving me no explanation on why you want to use us as the face of the passport bros, but y'all don't act like passport men. Y'all want to use
Say,
us when y'all talking to the ladies like, no, we look for love when we go to Brazil. I found me a good one in Brazil. You say that to the ladies that's coming at you, but we know 90% of y'all don't do nothing what we do. You ain't gonna do what we do. You ain't gonna do no 7-year bit, and at the end of it be able to be in a happy, peaceful relationship. You ain't gonna do that. And so that's what I get from it, is that it's like, it's almost like we are a completely different group of what the passport bros represent now, compared to what it used to represent. And you trying to hang on to what the, be there for your brothers, but
Right, right.
at the end of the day, you can see the writing on the wall as men. We like, y'all way over there and we way over here. This the grown folks table, so you know what to do when grown folks is talking. Go and play outside. And that's what these dudes are doing. They're doing just like little kids, running outside playing, while grown folks coming in this house is talking.
Well said, man. Shout out to Black Man Travels. I know he's out in DR right
Like,
now, man, with his
What
Dominican
up?
woman.
well,
What's good, bro? What's good, man? No, you were spot on with that, man. You have mentioned a question earlier. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. What I was going to say, no excuse. I just wanted to kind of hear your feedback, and then I had a follow up statement, and then I'll drop off because I know you guys have been online for a little bit. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to hear your take on it, and then I'll have a follow up statement.
I mean,
and then I'll drop off.
I mean, I really don't care what the naysayers say. I'm more concerned about kind of alluding to what Andre said is like, it's kind of we the minority, right? And I'm trying to brand Passport Bros, but in a certain way, but we represent maybe 10-20% at the most of intentions. And it's like I said, I don't care. I want brothers to travel regardless if they not, regardless they're looking for a wife, they just want to decompress, they want more options. I don't care why you travel. I want brothers to explore their options. But as far as the narrative is concerned, I know it's an uphill battle to try to brand it a certain way when only a small group of men that are looking for wives or even have wives or some type of stable relationship. So the narrative, it is what it is. The only thing I could focus on is how I represent the brand, the type of content I try to put out, and do my best to represent the brand. That's why it's things that I did behind the scenes to try to brand it in a certain way. But the narrative is going to be the narrative. So I just can't worry about. I just got to worry about what I'm doing with the brand and the name, and worry about if somebody personally criticizes me. They could criticize the movement, but I represent a different segment of the movement. So that's pretty much what I got for that.
And it's nice to see that there's a lot of foreign women. Also, I was say there's a lot of foreign women that actually helping out the movement, identifying us, the special forces that we are that are coming out there, looking for wives, looking for the right women and so forth, and not the other side of the spectrum of the parting, all the stuff the other stuff that goes on, all the noise and so forth. So it is nice to see that they also have our back.
No, facts.
Yes, I completely agree. And I see you had a question I asked earlier, but just in response to all of what you had to say, especially what you just said, brother. Like, yeah, I'm starting to see more and more ladies are coming to our defense because what they're starting to realize, is that a lot of men with resources and value, high caliber men are starting to take their talents overseas. And I believe that they just think that, like, well, the critics, if you will, some of the ladies think that, like, we are low caliber men. And it's like, no, like, if we're able to go to these places multiple times a year, not just, once or twice. Even if you do go once or twice, like, you have to have some sort of semblance of resources. But like, for me personally, like, I have an apartment in Medellin and I'm there 6 to 8 times a year. Yeah, I've kind of fallen back only because, like, I have an 8-year-old son and I coach football and stuff like that. But it's the top of the year. Like, I'll be in Colombia soon, and Dre and I, we gonna meet up because that's my brother, and we got something shaking for y'all. But anyway, what I'm saying is that like, they think that we don't, like they know that we have resources, but they try to accuse us of saying that we don't have the resources, and that is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard too much as far as challenging on resources. I mean, I've seen enough critics understand that the guys that travel frequently, they making some kind of money. So I don't think it's too many people that would argue that we don't have resources. I mean, it's different, right? You can't really.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what's actually being put out there from what Kings and Dreams is saying. Because I don't know if you ever check out Yes Jonas, a lot of his content he has from like these naysayers, especially from the women. You know, like they call us everything from dusties to you know, incels to even the P word. That is what we doing. And it's like, yo, or even colonizers. So it's like, yo, like,
Right.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So, well, yeah, like you've got haters that put out hit pieces like one dude who won't be mentioned, but I think that we all have heard his brother's name before. No excuse. You've been on a couple of his panels before, and salute to you for, you know, defending us and all that. And you know who I'm talking about. He just put out a hit piece yesterday on our brother Philly Dom. And like, it's just like, come on, man. Like, you're doing too much. Like, I
Well,
have never seen.
I don't want to get too far off topic, you know what I mean? But just to summarize what you're trying to say is that there is people trying to poke holes. There's always a story people try to find holes and poke at, right? So
Yeah, definitely.
We have passport pookies. We have brothers that live in other countries, overstay their visas. We got guys that are running from the law. You have all type of people that's got something going on in those countries. That's not what the movement is about. That's a distraction of the movement. The movement is about exploring your options as whether you're a black man, white man, or anyone, especially from a Western society that wants to see something different or live in an environment that's different. So the type of brothers, that's not really my concern. You know what I mean? If you decide you want to not pay your rent in the U.S. and trick it off overseas, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? Like that's that type of brother, and people could criticize that type of brother. We just have to focus on the people that represent what we want the passport bros to look like. You know what I mean? And leave it at that.
True.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I mean?
that's fair. That's fair. And yeah, I would just love to hear you gentlemen feedback. You know, from my question that's highlighted. And love and purpose. You know, shout out to you, brother. I haven't formally met you, but I've heard a lot of great things from you, Andre. Like, this is my brother. Like, I talk to Andre all the time. So definitely want to
Appreciate you,
connect with
brother.
you.
I've
Yeah,
seen
no
your
doubt,
work.
man. I'm sorry.
I said I've seen your work.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, man. I'm humbled, man. Thank
definitely.
you so much. But yeah, I would just love to hear your feedback from the question. And I'll leave it with this because I'll drop off and I want to hear your answers to my question. But um, no excuse, man. You. I think you outdid yourself on this one, man. This is a great panel. I know you and I had talked offline about you putting this together, man. This was great. It was very educational. Just to hear how you brothers have really just how you met these women and you know, family men and all that. Because I believe, me personally, I believe that having a wife does make you stronger as a man. And some men may not believe in that, but I've always believed in marriage. I've always believed in marriage.
No doubt, no doubt. So let's start with Mr.
Yeah.
Pro for you, man. Since you probably been in the long distance relationship before you move to DR.
The longest.
Let me get each of y'all take on the long distance aspect. And I'll start with you, Mr. Profit.
You know,
Hold on, but before you do, let me drop off because like I really wanted to be cammed up, and I don't want to disrupt the flow because you guys are having a great conversation. I will just leave with this. Just appreciate all you brothers, and for the naysayers and haters, winter is coming. I'm out. Salute.
Salute.
Frames. Okay, so you want to hear about the long distance relationship. I'm sorry, brothers. I snatched my cord out my computer earlier today, and I didn't know that it was going it's causing me problems now. I got to get another one tomorrow. But your question was as far as long distance relationships.
Yeah, some people, I guess his question was like some people basically have, you know, doubts or negative things to say about long distance relationships, or they don't think it's real. I've heard that before too. What is your, I guess, rebuttal to those type of narratives?
Well, my response to that is, I mean, I got the receipts. You know, if brothers want to ask specific questions, most of the brothers' questions will be, what if? Because I'm already on the other side of the long distance relationship. So if you're living in what ifs, there's no relationship that's going to work for you, local or long distance. You know, the one of the beautiful things about long distance relationships is when you finally get together, you already know each other. You know, you vetted, you know, you're already comfortable with each other. You already, you know, the only thing that you have to adjust to is being in the same space with each other. But as far as knowing what the relationship is about, knowing who you're with, knowing what she likes, she know what you like, she know what you're about, you know what she's about. We watch more local relationships end than our relationship. You know, so it's like we watching relationships fall to the wayside. And you know, one thing is, you know, you got to be careful of the again, going back to the noise. Family and friends, you got to be careful because they don't understand. You know, I have a video I'm gonna put out tomorrow about we got to start normalizing long distance relationships. We're in a different era. You know, if we putting out there that brothers are exercising their options, you know, outside the country for better relationships, better women, you know, just let's just leave it at better options. If we don't include long distance relationships in that, what are we saying? You know, because everybody isn't able to move tomorrow, and it's not advised to move tomorrow when you meet a woman. You know, you have to go through this period of it becoming what it's supposed to be, and then you move, you know, or you move her where you're at. But the relationship comes first. So if the relationship comes first, what relationship is that? It's a long distance relationship. You know, we're not in the old days. We're in the nowadays. Things are different. That old way of thinking is obsolete. And the interesting thing is that brothers shun it so much, you know, but you say you're looking for a relationship. You say you're looking for love. You say you're looking for these other things. They don't say they're looking for love, but we're looking for better women. And, you know, long distance relationship is the only way it's going to happen. It's going to start off long distance and then it'll evolve into what it's supposed to evolve.
Facts. Brother Andre. Hold on, you on mute. Hold on, bro.
Right, I feel the exact same way that you gentlemen do in regards to long distance relationships. I love the fact that Marcus said that it should be a part of the spoken narrative on more often now, and it should be seen as a part of the new norm, because this is what the world is about. Whether it be a long distance relationship in the States or whether it be a long distance relationship solidified on an international scale, if a part of dating now is you meet her on TikTok. I mean, meet her on a social media platform, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, like that. If that's a part of the narrative, long distance relationship should be a part of the spoken narrative as well. He's absolutely correct about that. But that takes us back to let's be real, fellas. Everybody can't do what we do.
That's true.
Everybody ain't built for long distance relationship. They ain't built for choosing the right person. First of all, some dudes be in long distance relationships for like 6 months with a piece of I won't say sister, a piece of female or woman that we all are sitting around looking at. This ain't gonna last 2 more weeks. Now, where'd you meet her? in Sasua, and we was at so that's all you had to say. We was at, and so everybody's not built to even accept the fact that to accept quality women. They ain't built for the fact of long distance travel. They money can't take them. They're not disciplined with the savings part.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they got a few dollars, some of them ain't disciplined when it comes to saving their time or disciplining their time when it comes to implementing a long distance relationship travel. They ain't disciplined with the sex. Ain't nobody talk about that. I ain't smashing nothing.
Right.
I'm so busy on monk mode and I'm so focused on the getting out the United States. The last thing I'm thinking about is beating the back end of a chick in the States. Why? Didn't I start this off saying I used to be in the swinger world, dude? I'd have ran through them. So while I'm in a long distance relationship, I don't feel like I'm missing nothing because I can go out and get 30 in one night in the same spot. Y'all, other dudes got to go out from different spots. No, in the swinger world, you paid to get in, and you about to smash 30. So it wasn't anything that was missing, and so you know what? Solo Traveler said this earlier. He said, he talked about the shit test. Let's be real with it. You had to shit test yourselves too. I had to shit self see if I'm for real with this relationship, or am I just gonna break in 2 years? Am I gonna break in 6 months? Am I gonna break in? Oh, you know what? This ain't working because it's just taking too long. I can't do the whole 7-year bit.
Right.
So I had to make sure that I had to shit test myself. Andre, are you gonna be real? Are you gonna be consistent with the video chats? Because I could have sat back and said, I don't know, I don't feel like that. But I realized that it wasn't about me all along. It was about sometimes we're doing a video chat that helps me out as far as understanding where we're going with this thing. And sometimes it was helping her out in regards to where we at when it comes to this thing. Every dude ain't built for this. That's why it's only with the 5 to 10%ers. Because every dude, they gonna give us the excuse of, well, everybody ain't built for marriage. That's one excuse. Second excuse we're gonna hear is, well, you can't judge another man. I like polygamy. You're gonna hear that one. You're gonna hear all the excuses, but them the same ones that's hitting us up in our DMs, the same ones that's hitting us up on Instagram, hitting us up on Google. Them the same dudes that be talking all that talk in front of the cameras, but be the same dudes behind the scenes asking us for advice. How you do it, man? How'd you do that? How'd you make it those 3 years? I got somebody I really like, but I don't know if I can make it. They ain't built for this. And I tell them, dude, you ain't built for this, dog. They rush. You'll see some dudes that want to do long distance relationships and they'll rush. This my boo. How long y'all been together? 2 weeks. Wait, pause. Me and Andre ain't talk about, like all you guys are saying, we built friendships with these women first to see what direction this was gonna go. We knew they were good. I'm a good dude, you're a good woman, so let's see what's gonna go. These dudes right out the gate, 2 weeks, she mine. I'm gonna go ahead and do these years. You ain't gonna make it no year, bro. You ain't built like this. You ain't built for this. You ain't built like this. 90% of dudes ain't built for this. And I continue to preach that. And dudes might get upset and disappointed, but at least they know that all of us have the receipts to prove that it does work when you do it right. And that's why I love the fact that, like, once again, I'm going to end it with this, that Marcus said that this should be the norm. If we're going to start making online dating the norm, then long distance relationships should be a part of the conversation just as much.
No, spot on. Solo Traveler, man. What's your take on long distance relationships, man?
So first off, I'm gonna say I like the question because the question, it highlights a lot with what we deal with, what we deal with, especially in the States. So one of the reasons why this question is posed is because you got to remember the culture in the United States. So the culture in the United States has always been that, long distance relationship would never work. That has always been beat in our heads. This is how it's always been, taught to us and so forth. So that is why I can see why people in the States would think that it would be silly to have a long distance relationship, or that it would never work is because our culture, from the United States, is not even set to even approve that to be a relationship. It's kind of funny because even men would say that, oh well, long distance relationships, there's not even a true relationship because you guys can see each other every single day, not knowing the fact that technologies and things have brought us even closer together. So as what Andre was saying, video chatting, talking every single day, talking on the phone, all of that stuff brings us even closer together to have a good relationship. So, and also what they neglect to understand is the culture of other people, cultures in different countries. If they accept that, which they do, these other countries, a lot of these women, they accept a long distance relationship. So that is where a lot of these people here in the States, where the ignorance come into play, because they don't understand. They haven't even lived this. They haven't even had a chance to go out there, even meet people to see what it's like. It's just the ignorance. Because even for me, I could say that I didn't think it was possible to have a long distance relationship. For me, it wasn't until I saw Charles Tyler, his videos talking about this, moving the way that he was moving. Because for me, when I was traveling, it was just, you just go there and have a good time, whatever. I didn't think he was able to build a relationship, a network, a family, whatever you can think of, in these different countries. Although you might be traveling back and forth, but you're still making the foundation of making that whole thing happen. So that's where that question comes down from, is the fact that the culture of the United States is built on saying that if you guys are not together, if you guys don't see each other down the street, whatever, their relationship is not going to last. And we know we even know, we probably some of us even been that guy that, you seeing a woman and basically she living with that man, but she goes down the street and go cheat and do something else. So you just never know that could happen. So, they throw stuff like that out there of cheating and things like that, infidelity. So, just to say that they don't understand the culture of the world. They only understand the pocket culture of the United States. And a lot of people take that as being the culture of the world, which is kind of ignorant.
It's kind of funny that you would say that, and not to cut you off, Rob, because I want to hear what you have to say about this too. It's kind of funny that you would say that. It brought me back to a thought. Back in my when I was 30, I was dating someone from Ukraine, and her brothers were both in long distance relationships, and these ladies that they were with, one was a doctor in Ukraine, and I forgot what the other one, but they were both professional women in Ukraine, and the brothers had worked hard to send for their girlfriends in Ukraine, even though they were in the States. These young dudes that were 20, 21, Ukrainian dudes bust their butt to get the money together, to pay for the visas, to pay for the flights, to get their future wives to the United States. They're happily married now. They're all have had kids and family units and everything. So what ORD was saying is absolutely correct. What might not be the norm in our culture and what we look oddly at, it's the norm in many, many other cultures around the world, that you might meet your special person from another country or another location, and you may be you may be together for the long haul. And so, but in the United States, that narrative goes, dude, let's put it like this. By the time that narrative is egotistical and headstrong as we are in the United States against change, it would probably take a good 10, 15, 20 years of watching the rest of us succeed in this before somebody just goes, you know what? Maybe there's something to this long distance relationship thing that we need to consider. But here's the problem. The reason why it's going to be that why the United States is headstrong also is because of this, which we haven't talked about tonight. 90 Day Fiance. That show has done more damage to the international dating, the real international dating and marriage experience than any other show, because it is showcased as if we go over there, find the dumbest or the worst or the most materialistic.
Mm-hmm.
They'll show a materialistic Colombian or materialistic Venezuelan women or a woman from Brazil with the hottest body, but she's the dingiest female, and she's married this backwoods American. They always make the dudes simple-minded
Broke.
and broke
Yeah,
as can
and
be,
broke.
and living in impoverished areas of whatever environment. So that's the other narrative that women are using. Y'all just going down there getting those women from the broke areas and paying dowries and y'all and it's like if you only knew how insulting you are to womanhood when you say that. And I wish women really understood you really are insulting women around the world that are accomplishing all the things that women in the United States are accomplishing as well, as far as their education and businesses and goals. And you just belittle them by saying y'all all third world, y'all don't own anything, y'all don't have anything, y'all just submissive little dogs, little puppies. And I'm looking like, it's sad to see women demonstratize women, but I love the fact that you have women out there like Philippa P right now and other females even females in the States that are speaking against what these ladies are saying and saying, are you crazy? Right. You know, Philippa P interviewed on one of her last videos, he interviewed 3 women that are down there, and all of them were working on their degree. And she said, well, wait a minute. You ladies said you want to get married. Why would you need a degree? To showcase that I can bring value to the family, that anything happens to my man, I got him. Or if he needs me to come alongside on the business side, I got him. I'm showing my man that I can learn. All 3 of these women said the exact same thing. I want to show whoever I'm with that I bring value to a family dynamic, not to themselves, but to the family dynamic. And United States women don't say that about their education. It's all about me. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry, I ain't gonna cut you off. Yeah, I also wanted to touch back on about the 90-day fiance. I believe that whole thing was created to discourage people to look beyond the borders of the United States. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's the reason why they created that show, to showcase, to make it look like, okay, if you do this, you know, basically saying stay your butt on the plantation. If you do this, this is what you're going to end up with. This is going to be your problems. You can't make this whole thing happen. I want
to talk about 90-Day Fiance's narratives on our next panel, because it's a lot that we can dig into that. I'll just say this, and then I'll answer the question. Then I'm going to present the last question for y'all. The guys, first of all, the men that you see that bring women here, most of the men on 90-Day Fiance are broke. They bringing these women back. These women got in their mind, this man is a certain status, his home looks like this or this. Most of them examples, they are like broke. Somebody's living with their parents. Somebody just had a basic apartment. Of course, if I was a woman, I would want to leave them too. You know what I mean? So and what's funny is that the guys that's on this panel, and a lot of other men that we know that's married to foreign women, we have our shit together. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? So if you brought your wife to the US, you doing your thing, in the US, you didn't surprise her living in the projects or you know, catching a bus.
Yeah, all that is good for entertainment TV, and that's all it is. Entertainment, you know, at everyone's expense. You know, that's all it's all about.
But yeah, I'm gonna answer this question about long distance relationships. So I do think that you put yourself. There's a challenge doing long distance relationships with a woman in Africa, Asia, somewhere far out. You know what I mean? Colombia, DR, a lot of the countries in Latin America, they're more accessible, they're more easily accessible and expensive. So I wouldn't, it would be very challenging to do a long distance relationship with someone in Africa. Do I know men that do it? Yes. Some men, it's few men that could travel, that could afford to travel frequently to Latin America, but then there's even fewer men that could travel frequently to Africa or Asia. And these guys are able to do it. Either they're retired, they make a lot of money. Like I know some truck drivers, they're off for extended amount of time. So it's very unique circumstances. So I will say the amount of distance and cost does play a part. But as far as long distance relationships in general, I think they're good, not only internationally, but domestically as well. I mentioned this when I was on a panel with QB, and a lot of times we talk about casual sex not being the norm in the U.S. Like if you go on a date for the first time, guys may not be able to, hook up on the first time or first few times. But in long distance relationships, what I noticed, whether it's foreign or internationally, before you meet that woman for the first time, y'all have talked for months to the point where y'all talking about sex maybe in the second or third month. So when you see her for the first time, y'all gonna hook up because y'all already developed that. So basically the first date in a long distance relationship versus the first date with somebody close is going to be, the outcomes are going to be different because she barely knows you barely know her, and you don't know her intentions. But in a long distance relationship, if she's not interested, she's going to fall off real quick. So that's one caveat as well. Another thing is that long distance relationship, you don't waste a lot of money on dates. So talking to a woman for a few months, y'all ain't went on no dates. But when y'all hook up, y'all first date is gonna be when y'all hook up, and then most likely y'all gonna y'all gonna have an intimate connection. Dating somebody locally, you're gonna be spending money on dates all the time. So you're able to save and be more responsible with your finances in a long distance relationship as well. And I would say the kind of last part I'll speak on long distance relationships. It worked for all of us on the panel because it led to marriage. It allowed us to be patient. It allowed us to not rush situations. It allowed us to see if there's something we can do. It actually challenged us in relationships. So I think that as far as cheating goes, cheating can happen anywhere. One thing I would say about, I would say American women, and I'm going to use Latin women for example, is that a Latin woman and an American woman can cheat on you in a long distance relationship. The only difference is that American woman would cheat on you while you in her presence. A Latin woman, at least she won't cheat on you if you're there.
Good point. That's a good point.
She's going to be loyal with you there. She's not going to cheat with somebody at her job down the street because she's more because she doesn't want you to. You have the advantage because there's more women that you can hook up with, and she doesn't want to give you a reason to cheat. And then two, she don't even want to give you the time to cheat. She want to be close to you. You know what I mean? But an American woman, she would cheat, and y'all live in the same house. I've never heard a foreign woman cheat on a man and they live together in a foreign country. I've never heard that. You know what I mean? So that's just a dynamic that I noticed. But my final question, man, you know what I mean? I just want to talk about matchmaking, man. So have you guys ever been, and I'll start with you, Andre, have you guys ever been asked to hook you up since we're married? I know guys have asked you, can you help me find a wife? Do your wife got friends or family? Have you got asked that? What do you think about matchmaking? And then have you had any bad experience matchmaking where you just like, no, I'm not going to do that?
As far as I'm concerned, And you're correct. We've been asked several times. We've been asked, and as you guys may know, the more successful your relationship is and showcased, the more people think that you guys should go into business doing it. You should be in the business of matchmaking for your fellow brethren. You know, the guilt thing for your brothers. And so, but at the end of the day, I just, politely tell them that we'll never go off into that, because that person's personality and your personality can be completely different from what we were thinking when we hooked you guys up. And so first of all, we can't afford you to be disappointed, and we can't afford her to be disappointed. Secondly, bruh, I tell them just like this, dude, you got a passport and you travel. I got you. I don't know if you're a dude that be whooping on women's tails in the States, dog. I don't know if you're the type of dude that go through women purses in the States, bruh. I say, I don't know what type of dude you are. I don't know if you know how to be financially responsible or whatever. You could put your charade on while you overseas. I said, so to stay out of that narrative, that's all right, brother. And I kid you not, we get asked all the time, well, how about you guys? We've had business offers like, we'll set up an Airbnb and you can have these dudes come in and you can do training. And no, I ain't doing none of that, bro. No. I'm no. Don't give me a brick and mortar, nothing. I'm out. I'm traveling, man. Everything I do is online. So I don't take it as a compliment. I don't take it as something that makes me, that I should feel like proud, like, look at me, guys, look at me as an example. I don't take it like that. I just look at it, it goes in one ear out the other, because I'd be dang if one day all it takes is one dude coming from the States that got some, that's, that got he didn't grew up and he was Damien when he was a child, and he takes it out on one of these ladies in another country that I hooked up. So or the lady uses him and takes everything he owns. So I ain't trying to have a dude get got like that. So I stay far away from that as possible.
What about you, Solo Travel?
So for me, it is a no. Hell no. I've done it before.
You big dummy.
It didn't work right. So yeah,
no. Oh no, pause. You got a story to tell. Don't you if you think you about to just run past that story, come on. You ain't got to give us details, but tell us what went on. You got to give no names or nothing.
Man. So here's the thing, you meet brothers while you travel, and you guys become, have a nice little bond, whatever, from meeting, brothers and so forth. So thing about it is, I actually helped out this one brother who actually just got out of a long-term relationship with another Colombian, and he was begging, asking. He was like, hey man, can you ask your wife to hook me up with somebody, please, I'm begging. And I'm just like, I'm like, well, I don't really know you, but I know you, but not like that. But I'm like, you know what? I'll help you out this time. You keep begging. Maybe you might be really serious about this. Yo, this guy, he done sat up here, and we hooked him up with a real good girl, real nice girl from the country. She's from a small town and everything. She, could be gullible and so forth, because she doesn't know the big city, how people operate and traveling and so forth. So he goes out there and he starts chopping up with her, so forth. Next thing I know, he starts, lying about certain situations, lying about stuff that my wife is saying, lying about stuff that I've said, lying stuff. It was a whole big mess that was being created throughout the whole situation. In the end, he actually went back to the old girl, so he was going between both girls, and it just made us look really bad. So I'm like, no. I'm never doing that ever again. I don't care. No ifs, ands, or buts. He messed it up for everybody. So that's my story.
I already know that situation. Yeah, you know the person, but
What about
I'm
you,
like,
Rob?
yo, never. Man, I won't do it. All right, I'll let you know what happened. Then I'll let you know what my wife says about it. So it was a guy, man. I had a woman for him, man, and he was talking to her all the time, and I thought they was a good match. He's an older fella, and I hooked him up with a woman that was a little older but still younger than him. And I know he liked to do his thing in Colombia, but I know he complained about foreign women, so I'm like, I got a good one for you. So they talking, and when he finally come to Colombia, he gets to Colombia and like kind of ghost her for like a day or two, and then come around and try to get up with her on the back end of his trip. And she like, I know you've been with other girls and stuff like that. She wasn't having it, and I'm just like. I'm like, bro, like that's not a good look. You know what I mean? And this was my family. This was my girl family, my wife family. So it was just like, man, it make me look bad because it's like it's obvious that you messing with other chicks. And so I don't want that type of stigma to be associated with me. Like, you know, we already know what goes down in Colombia in a lot of these cities. So and he was a close dude, so I was just like, man, if somebody kind of I'm close to gonna kind of mess it up, like I'm not gonna do it with no stranger, man, or somebody I barely know. So and guys, you know, some guys, you know, I try to, I try to fill them out. I may try to send them information, man, but. And just people got to understand this too. Like if you looking for someone to introduce you to somebody, you got to have good intentions. You know, you shouldn't even ask if you know that you want to play the field. Like ask when you completely ready. Because if one of us really did have somebody to hook you up with, trust me, she's going to be somebody you can marry. You know what I mean? So you got to be right in yourself because you could ruin her for other potential men, or you could ruin yourself from, you basically burnt the bridge. My wife says now, I don't really ask her no more, but my wife says even if she did have somebody, she's not going to give them her phone number. Like you gotta be in the city and meet, and she'll introduce you in person. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be no exchange numbers and talking and you making them. They don't know when you're gonna come, things of that nature. When you're in the city, and you know what I mean, we want to do that, then we'll introduce you. But it's not gonna be no advance, introduction.
Yep.
That it's kind of
the
funny.
The thing is, they don't understand. I'm sorry.
Go
I'll say
ahead,
right quickly. I'll just say that, they don't understand that they're making us look bad. So, with them doing their foolery, it messes everybody up and we all look bad. So there you go.
I'm piggybacking right off of what you just said because I got a story for what ORD just said. First conversation, Andrew's dad looking at me like he's man's man. He sit back in the chair. He about to have our first conversation. Andrew about to translate a lot of it. First thing he asked me was my spiritual life. Do I believe in God or not? And yeah, of course, I'm a Christian. And so we had a conversation about that. Second statement. There's a lot of women here in Colombia. He just sat back. Because whether we realize it or not, these fathers and these brothers and these uncles hear what's going on in Medellin, hear what's going on in Cartagena, here's what's going on the other side of Cali. They hear this. So when we come along, just like ORD was saying, so many dudes done burned the bridges that even us good dudes, the dads got their eyebrow up like, hey, you got to prove to me that you good people with my daughter because you American dudes, y'all grimy. Y'all grimy. I'm gonna tell you to your face. Y'all grimy your people dirty. Whether they be black, whether they be white, your people ain't about the right. So what about you gonna prove to me that you about the right? And even after that conversation that we had dinner and everything was great, it took him and that's my dude to this day. That's my dog now. But it took him, as I mentioned before earlier, to see me come down during Christmas to okay. He in the family now. That's my dog now. That's my boy. I'm cooking dinner for Dre now. And he did cook for me several times since then. But he needed something to solidify that I wasn't another dirty American dude, because that's all they know about us coming from the States, is that we just some dirty dudes. We ain't about the right. Yeah. And so we have to jump the hurdles, like ORD is saying. We got to jump the hurdles of some stupidity these other 90% of passport bros are doing. And so that's why it's hard to do the hookup thing because most dudes fall in the category of the other 90%. Ain't nothing about them trailblazers. Ain't nothing about them that talks, ain't nothing about them to where they could be special forces. Nothing
That's
about them. And they are brothers, black and white, but they make it look bad. And that's why all of us who are married are hands off you dudes, man. Ain't no way in hell we about to sit up here and have our sisters or have our girlfriend's cousin who look just as beautiful as she does and got a beautiful personality get burned because you didn't know how to sit your little happy tail down somewhere.
Exactly. And something something you mentioned too, just about the reputation. Like it was times with my wife where she was hesitant or afraid to tell her family or friends we had something planned because I could have canceled or something, and she could have told all her friends, "Oh, we're about to do this and do that," and then I didn't come through. And so, you know what I mean? So she had to protect herself because, they don't want, because people laugh at you if they say, "Oh, you let, that gringo made you believe he was going to marry you or made you believe he was going to do this and that." You know what I mean? And it's because of the reputation of others, man. So, that, and I've seen it in Dominican women too, or foreign women in general. They don't want to be too open because, especially whether it's showing you on social media, telling their family and stuff about you or certain things. They don't want to be embarrassed because you might just pump and dump or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they it's kind of funny because they look at us like y'all good for partying, y'all good for paying for the bottles, y'all good for VIP, y'all good for a little dancing and coming, y'all good for some decent sex, American men. Okay, cool. But as far as serious, nah, man, we don't take y'all serious because your reputation precedes you, American men. No matter what color, the reputation precedes us. So for those out there in the audience that think that because you American, that gives you an ups, really in Colombia, it's a setback. It really is a setback to where you got to prove to the family, I ain't like the mother 90%. This is a 10%er right here. And you really gotta showcase that you are different. You cannot come to the table like everybody else. And that's another sign of, and I think you guys can attest to this. Not everybody even built to meet the family. Not everybody even built to even meet the family and get past the family test to where the uncles and the dads and the brothers say, that's a good dude right there.
You know how long it took for my wife to be comfortable to give me her siblings' number, her mom number? She didn't want me to have their numbers. You know what I mean? It took me a while for her to. It took her a while.
I got everybody's number on my phone right now. I'm with you too.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
So that building trust, man. I want another thing, and I wanted to add too is outside of introducing guys to other women. I've decided I have to step back, bringing my wife around guys and women that they're with just for the short time because one thing I don't like. I don't want to say I don't like. One thing that kind of annoys me that my wife does sometimes, maybe it's women in general, is that she is open to exchange numbers with any girl that she meets.
Mm-hmm. My wife,
and girls, they gossip, and it's just like in my head, it's like I don't know this woman, I don't know this girl, I don't know what type of information you're gonna feed her. And Colombians, maybe it's Latin culture, but Colombians in particular, they take numbers. They got numbers of taxi drivers. They got numbers of everybody they meet. If you look at their WhatsApp, they got like probably 100 chats. You know what I mean? Because that's their primary form of communication. But yeah, it's a lot of messy chicks, and then it's a lot of information. You have to, in my opinion, you have to kind of monitor and protect that situation because women by nature like to gossip. You don't know the woman that she's gossiping with, and it's things. My wife came back to me, told me like, "Oh man, this girl told me this," or she done learned something, or she got exposed to know something I really didn't want her to really know about. And it's like, you know what I mean? I brought her around these people. She got numbers with these chicks. And we had we bumped heads because I think one time I kind of gave her a pep talk. I'm saying, hey, I don't know these people. You know what I mean? Please,
Right.
you know what I mean? Don't be too open to exchange information. And she was like, I know how to handle myself. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't need, she's like, basically, she's like, I know how to handle myself. I know how to have discernment for people you meet. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
she respected me, but she did give me some pushback. Like, you know what I mean? Basically, like, in our culture, it's even with taxi drivers, I didn't like women that just took numbers of taxi drivers. I'm like, why are you giving this man your number? Or why are you saving this man number? I don't, you know what I mean? But then culturally, they like to use the same driver sometimes.
True.
I
got taxi drivers' numbers. Once you get here, you never in the States. I have never gotten a taxi driver number ever. I got taxi drivers' numbers. I got Uber drivers' numbers. I'd be like, listen, okay, we gonna leave here at so and so and so and so. If you want to make this money, let me get your number real quick, dude. You could be the one to pick us up when we leave. And he like, okay, cool. And you all of a sudden you got this dude's number, and you got other dudes' numbers that you cool with as far as Uber or taxi drivers. So you're absolutely correct. The communication is completely different dynamic here in the States, but than in the States. But I agree with you guys 1,000,000,000,000%. I don't trust energies. And if your girl is a pay for play on your arm, or if she's just a party girl, let's say she's a nice girl, but you just met her, you can't be in my circle, dude. You can't do one. It's like Sesame Street. One of these things do not belong here. And so, like when me, you, Rob, and your wife and Andrea, we went out for brunch. We knew the energies of you guys that you guys have as a couple. So our energy and our presence in the ladies conversing, me and you doing a live stream while they talking.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We can't feel comfortable like that with every dude come along and his woman talking to our woman. And so it's rare that me and Andrea, and we would like to have more couples like that, but it's rare that me and Andrea can sit down with a couple and have a good time. Like my boy Ernest in DR met his wife. We had a ball. But if it's just a dude that's with a pay for play chick, don't bring your girl around me, because and you be so proud. They be so proud, don't they? They got their little girlfriend on their arm of 2 weeks, and they be so proud. We look like, dog, you ain't been through the trenches yet. Why you bring her around me? And you dance.
Yeah.
Wow, I got my girl, and I would love for you and Andrea to go out together and see what you and Andrea think. Have you had those to see what you guys think? I might be the only one to show up. I give them all type of Andrea excuses. Well, Andrea had to go pray, so she can't make it to dinner.
Yeah,
and you ain't about to
my
meet
wife
my
said
wife,
she don't
man.
even want to. Yeah, she don't even want to meet them. Like,
No.
she's like, hey, if it's like pre-poggles, no, she don't want to have nothing to do with them. Leave it at that.
Yep.
Because man, I swear they be, like we said, they be gossiping. They be having all these conversations, especially after they meet. After they meet, and furthermore, and it's the same thing not only for Colombia but also for DR. Women is the same way. All they do is gossip. So yeah, you gotta protect your woman. Basically, you gotta police cop the situation that's going on just for your sanity, for your peace. Because there's certain things that you don't want to be brought back to you. Certain gossip you don't want, and drama. It brings drama. So, for all of that being said, you got to be very careful who you bring around your wife. It's very important.
Yeah, very, very. And what's kind of funny, guys, in being this about second marriage, I was nowhere near this type of dude in my first marriage, and I was a decent husband. Wasn't perfect, but I was decent. But this one, I don't know what I think maybe because we did you invested 3+ years into a long distance. You protective about this. You built this house from scratch with your knuckles. And I think that's one of the things that caused me to have a little bit more appreciation. It wasn't just, we walking down the street, we meet each other, exchange numbers, a couple of years later, we married. It's you went through the trenches right in the beginning when it came to the long distance relationship, and you built so much and you learned so much about that person, and they learned so much about you. to where you like, man, I ain't about to let you clowns mess up. You know, you feeling like Coach Belichick, man. Y'all ain't about to let y'all mess. I'm about to get these 5, 6 rings out of my Brady. Y'all ain't about to get my Brady now. And so that's how that's how you feel about your marriage. And I like to be around guys that are protective of their marriages, because now I can bring my wife around you guys and your marriage, because we're like, we think alike. We don't let every woman hang out or come near, or just because dude cool with us that he gonna bring his nah, bro, nah, yeah. And some of y'all asked to meet Andrea. I'm like this with Andrea. I don't let Andrea meet every dude.
Right.
Man, dude, it's be plenty of dudes that be they're supportive, and they love them some Love Crossing Borders. I would love to meet you and your wife. I'm gonna take you guys out to dinner. Yeah, they end up taking me out to dinner. Like, everybody ain't about to meet my wife, dog. That's not about to happen. So even in that sense,
my bad. I don't even want.
Go ahead.
I don't believe a man should let another man get comfortable with his wife. That's like I would never want a man to be in Cartagena and let's say he recognized my wife, to walk up to her and be like, "Hey, I wouldn't even want you to do that, because you shouldn't be that comfortable. You shouldn't be that comfortable."
No.
I got friends that's married. Guys have different opinions about this, but I have guys that are married, fraternity brothers, lifelong brothers. I haven't even added their wife on Facebook. If I'm if I'm friends with them, it's because they requested me. But I always distance myself, and I never want my wife to know you like that. To be comfortable, like the only man she should be comfortable with is me.
I got one partner in my life where his wife and me are comfortable. But I knew her like 3-4 years. Like we were all in the same exercise class. And so she was like one of my sisters, right? And so I knew this dude on this end. And all of a sudden I was like, well, who's your husband? So and so and so and so. What? That's my dog. And so I'm really close with both of them. But that is a rare situation. I'm with you guys 100%. It's very few dudes that meet. When you guys meet Andrea, like Kings have, you, other guys that have met Andrea, Victor, believe you me, it was premeditated. It was not happenstance that you guys met my wife. And it was not by mistake that a lot of you dudes didn't meet my wife. That was premeditated. So just in case you guys are wondering, where's Andrea? She had to go tie her shoes. She couldn't make it tonight. She had to go tie her shoes. So therefore, yeah, that's premeditated. Everybody about to meet you crazy.
Yeah, I know. So I know Steve and I know Andre. I still was nervous bringing my wife around their wife for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just because that's the protective nature.
Right. Yep.
But let me see. I feel the same way. It's rude to talk to someone. Yeah, it's very rude to talk to someone's wife. I wouldn't even. I could have met both of their wife. I could have met y'all wives multiple occasions. I still wouldn't initiate conversation. I think that's more of a female thing anyway. But I just was just kind of raised to have a certain type of respect when it comes to another man's.
Even with my boy, so forth. Yeah, even with my boy and his wife, and I talked to them the other day, and I've been part of the. Man, I've been knowing them for about 25 years, right? And I still probably talk to her maybe now that I know that, okay, you married to my boy, I probably talk to her after that like 3% of the time, and 98% of the time was him. And it would have to be me like run across, hey girl, what's up? In a grocery store or something, or back in yoga class or something. But other than that, once I realized that you my boy's wife, the dynamic changes. You ain't my homegirl like that no more. I can't be like, what you doing, girl? We about to go out to the club, show these new bodies off. And no, we we can't do that no more. You can't go, girl. So then you get 3%. Hey, tell so and so. I said, what's up? I hope the kids are doing fine. Blah 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 blah. Tell Tony that I'll be over to the house later on. That's the type of conversations that she getting that from now on. Like if we run across each other, tell Tony I'll be over later on to watch the football game because we're all supposed to meet up over your house to watch the football game anyway. So
exactly
that type of conversations now. She'll get nothing more.
Like, one thing my uncle used to say, man. My uncle used to tell me, he was like, I never brought a man to my house. He said, even my best friends, he was like, I never brought a man to my house. And I was just kind of like, wow. And he got some homies he done grew up with. I'm not to that extent. I want to have cookouts. I want to have barbecues and stuff like that. But I had an uncle hardcore. He was like, I never brought another man to my house. You know what I mean? I was just like,
why don't be here in Chicago? Is they out here vicious, boy. They don't care. They'll stab your wife, man. You could be boys for years. You know what I mean? So they funny like that. So I can understand from the standpoint from your uncle. You got some trifling dudes out here. So I can see why he's trying to protect her.
Yeah. I want to bring up. I don't got no more questions, but I was thinking about something earlier. Something me and Solo laughed about a couple of times. So it was instances where at the airport, right? Like so it was times where my wife was traveling alone to, like, let's say meet me in DR or something like that. And so and he had common issues too. Like I've noticed, like at the airport, like one time she was late for a flight or late to check in. They didn't rush her on the flight. They made her catch the next flight. One time she went to DR and they gave her misinformation. Basically, the people at the airport gave Colombians bad customer service, but they give us better customer service than Colombians.
Not even just that. Beautiful single flying women get treated completely different in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean islands. Andrea talks about it all the time. She said, babe, there was no way in the world I would take this flight to Mexico. If I had to meet you here, she said, I wouldn't. She said, no, they treat Colombian women like everybody's pay for play just because we're beautiful. She said they treat us complete, the respect level in certain countries, even certain countries in Europe. If you're a female that's from Venezuela, Brazil, or Colombia, and you're flying solo, it is completely different experience. Sometimes they even take you into a room, take the ladies into a room and do, they'll put the flashlight in their eyes and, well, what are you doing here? What husband are you?
Interrogate them.
Yeah, they do. They see it for hours. So what
your
girl
wife
is talking about, that is so true. Andrea has already said there's certain places she'll never go by herself because she's heard stories like what your wife and other ladies have gone through, and ladies in her family have gone through. So as our wives get older, the dynamic may change, but as long as they're young and beautiful, it is. And it isn't even about the young part. As long as your wife is attractive, your wife gonna go through it as a solo traveler. Can you guys confirm that?
Yeah. So I could tell you from my personal experience, she actually dealt with that. Like her first trip going to Mexico, she was meeting me there in Cancun, and they actually did exactly what you said. They actually delayed her, put her in a room, interrogated her. She was stuck in there for about 3 years, and they kept, threatening that they were going to deport her because they just didn't believe that, she was here, waiting. Oh, she was at, Cancun with me and so forth. So, but the thing about it is that once they get that first stamp, then they won't mess with them as much anymore. It's always that first stamp going into that country, and that's when they go through all of those security measures and so forth with them. They even check to see how much money they have. They want to see what credit cards, how much cash they have on them, all that stuff. They're gonna put them through the ringer. So just to confirm that they're not this type of pre-pago girl running around, doing that type of stuff. So.
Yep.
That's very common.
And paying for bags too. Like I didn't realize this a couple of times, because a couple of times I bought flights for my wife and even women before I got with my wife to like meet me in another city, and I'm so accustomed to like, certain type of bags included. And they done got to the airport sometimes. You're like, you didn't purchase bags for me? And I'm just like, no, what they won't let you on a flight. Like they won't budge in Colombia at the airports. Like if you don't pay for something, they is not gonna be like, okay, I'll let this slide. They is like, they is crazy, man. So if you ever flying a chick, especially Colombia, make sure she got bags included in her flight, because
true.
Yep. Or have some cash on her, some money.
Yeah,
I think is for me. My girlfriend at the time, we had a card together, so I would let her use that card whenever she traveled. I have an American Airlines card, so so of course I keep it locked whenever she's not not with me, whatever. But during that time, that is. But she will use that just in case she had any issues. She'll use those cards just to make sure, she made it safely, because last thing you want, because a lot of times what happens is like those girls, they will panic. They will panic. They will become so dramatic. It is crazy. It can be something simple, like he said, about the baggage, and they will make that to be like, they'll go from 0 to 100 and make it seem like it's the end of the world. Like everything's falling apart and like she's about to die.
Andre did that in Mexico. When it came to our MIG test, our MIG check form. We had filled them out. She swore she did. We got to the airline. No, we don't have. They were very busy. It was rush type of situation. And the lady said, "Well, we don't have it on the list. Blah blah blah. We have yours, but we don't have his. I'm not leaving my husband." Andrea cried. Colombian women cried at the drop of a hat. I said, "Babe, it's gonna be all right." So eventually they let me on the plane, and Colombia said, "I don't see why they said that. Your check MIG has been here the whole time. So why did they lie to you like that? Maybe to get you to buy another ticket later on, or whatever it may be." But you're absolutely correct. They're gonna bring the waterworks or whatever dramatic, like it's the end of the world. I'm like, babe, calm down. Focus on the solution, not the problem.
Yeah. Hey, brothers, I gotta jump off because we've been out for 3 hours. And
No, I was about to wrap it up, man. But yeah, man, appreciate y'all coming on, man. Can't wait to do the next one, man. I got both channels in the description, so you guys can make sure you check out, if you're not already sold, to Love Crossing Borders and the Solo Traveler ORD. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, man. I'm doing a live with somebody in Argentina. So until then, man, good night, brothers. Talk to y'all later. Peace out.
Peace.
See you later.